Whether it's a movie night or just midday, Skinny Pop is a salty snack that keeps on giving. Made with just 3 simple ingredients for an irresistibly delicious taste and a large serving size that lasts. Deliciously popped, perfectly salted. Skinny Pop, popular for a reason. Shop Skinny Pop now.
Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccerrules.
Hi from New York. It's a show that just realized we don't have any Super Bowl bets on the board. Outside of, like, your actual betting, but show bets.
Oh, we
Then
do.
I'm going to start kicking them around.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because we were betting
I'm down.
Seafood Towers.
Well, I mean, the
you got a
fate
steak
of the
dinner.
doorstep of destiny.
That's not a bet. That's just kind of like
Well,
a show
I
segment.
bet you if the Patriots lose, Brou and I beat that thing with sledgehammers.
That's going to be
Nick
great.
can't wait. I guess this is a yearly. This is the 1 year for that segment. Like the bulletin board goes on the road, just goes year after year. The doorstep of destiny.
once we're
But
there,
if they-
we've kind of arrived.
If they win, Brou, it lives forever.
Oh wow!
If
It
they-
becomes doorstep of a dynasty then probably.
Maybe.
If they win, it stays
But this
forever.
is not a bet, is what I'm saying. We need to get a bet. Like
You know what I'm in for.
shaving your head.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
And
You're
if
dying to shave
if
your head.
someone else will meet the stakes. If you really want to feel alive,
I don't
Kate,
want you
watching the Patriots in the Super Bowl, where you know if they win, your team wins. Your boys are lifelong diehard Pats fans by being bonded by a championship. And if they lose, not only is there devastation, but you have to show up Monday with a shaved head.
I don't think that would.
You will feel alive.
It'd be a
buddy.
great show.
I would- you know what
For
I would do?
that one show, it'd be great.
I would take my
After that,
hairpiece off like the boxer. Just for one show. First hour, first things first. Today, shouldering the load. Drake Shoulder feeling better. Are we expecting him to air it out on Sunday? Meanwhile, friend of the show, Josh Allen, joins the show to answer some criticism.
Is that what he's doing?
Really? That's what the whole.
That's what I'm going to
He
say.
wanted to come on
to
respond.
He's going to refute you guys, because I've believed in him for 2 years.
I've liked him too. It's all
It's
you.
really you.
I'm a huge fan of him.
What?
What are you
He's the
talking
enemy.
about?
He's the
What?
enemy.
No, he's not. I
You
might
are
be
the
the biggest
Patriots.
Josh
He's gotta
Allen
be
fan
the
on
enemy.
the show.
Impossible.
Name
I think
one
not.
negative thing I've ever said about Josh Allen.
He turns the ball over too much.
That's
Okay.
just the truth.
Well, tell him
there-
that. Tell him that. Tell him that.
I will. Buddy, you turn the ball over too
Okay,
much. You know who
all
else?
right, and-
You know who else told him that? Tom Brady.
90 red.
And you said they're not that good of a team.
And guess what?
I think
I'm
you
in the
said
Super
more than
Bowl,
that.
and he's doing interviews with us.
This was going to be hot.
It's not going to be
There's gonna
hot.
be
I'm
fireworks
a
in
huge
this
Josh
interview.
Allen fan.
Since when?
You don't
want me to-
sound like it. He's a turnover machine.
No, I
on
don't
a
think he's a
bad
turnover
team.
machine.
I don't
He's
know
a
what
great
else to say.
teammate and a great guy who happens to turn the ball over too much when he's trying to do
And
too
his
much.
team is no good.
We'll talk.
And that's true, bro.
Okay.
We took the AFC East from them. We're starting with Drake Shoulder. He's feeling better, thank goodness. Take a listen to the update.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'll be just fine. I threw a good bit. I threw as much as I would in normal practice, and felt great. And looking forward to getting back out there. Felt good from the flight and throwing out there today. I think it's turned the corner, and really had no doubt in being 100% for the game. This is a Super Bowl. We get 2 weeks to prepare for it. Do whatever it's got to do to get it right, and I've got confidence and feel good.
There we go. I'm feeling, thank goodness. Here's how he's done this postseason. Not great. 334 yards and a double-digit victory against the Chargers, but still turned the ball over twice. Against the Texans, he threw for 3 touchdowns, but again, coughed it up there. And against Denver, got the win, but it was like a snowstorm out there. And like, what are you supposed to do? It was like a scene from Elf, except everyone was, a professional football player. It wasn't a snowball fight. Is he due for a monster game?
No. He doesn't really, as excellent as he was this year, there weren't many monster games. The game against Baltimore was the only 300-yard game of his entire career. And there's a Jets game. Like the Jets, he had 5 touchdowns.
That was a stat padding game.
I think I could throw for 1.
And so he had, he was surgically efficient. And early in the year, surgically efficient plus incredibly explosive. Right. Late in the year, less explosive, still very efficient. And you can't really find a slice of football where Drake this season was bad. Mm-mm. But there is a pretty clear, demarcation between when he was excellent and when he was solid. And that is where who you were playing came into play. So Drake this year against playoff teams, including the playoff games, is one thing I want to show you, which is, again, the team record, very good. Team points per game, that's above league average. That's solid.
Team points per game. I mean, a lot of that is like we lit up the Panthers, though, right?
That's only one of 7 games. I mean, you played 7, so no. But 8 total touchdowns in 7 games, 200 pass yards per game in 7 games, a 95 passer rating. That's not explosive. That's not a monster game. And then when you see where he did have his monster games, you guys played 6 games this year against teams that are drafting in the top 6. And those were the huge stat games. Now, the right-hand column, that is a level good enough to win on Sunday. Just to be clear, the right-hand column is everybody else.
The others, yeah.
Yeah, the 235 yards, 1.5 touchdowns to 1 pick is essentially, 2 touchdowns to 1 pick, 102 rating. That's all really good, but that wouldn't be a monster game. And so I just think, and that is Brou without even factoring in, Seattle has an argument that it's the best defense they will have faced. Yes. And do
you think the Seattle defense is better than the Texans defense?
So here's the thing. I think it's different. I think the way they are successful is different. But that game that you love that he played against the Texans defense involved him completing 55% of his passes and less than 200 total yards and 3 turnovers. Yeah. So now he did have 3 touchdowns.
I think the Texans, I felt like the Texans were by far and away the best defense in the league. And
the stats don't
we
say
beat
they
them,
were,
and then all of a sudden it's like, the Seahawks are actually the best.
No, I don't think there was a far and away best defense in the league. I think that the Texans felt utterly going into that Pats game because the offense had gone into a coma for them, and their defense had been awesome in the first playoff game, and the Seahawks were off that week. The Seahawks in Week 18 held the Niners to 3 points and then didn't play in first round of the playoffs, and then Week 2 of the playoffs allowed 6 points. So I think Texans, Broncos, Seahawks were all in the mix throughout the year as the best defense in football. So I just don't think it's a monster game, bro.
You're still open
to...
it's
a check mark in the Seahawks corner. Those graphics were pretty informative.
Wow, I'm really moving through.
That we won most of the games.
That Drake doesn't cook against good teams. That's what those graphics show. That he cooks against the tomato cans.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying.
The Browns defense.
All I'm saying is it's a check mark in the Seahawks corner. That's it. I'm still gathering info. You got to step it up, though, because Nick is coming hard. What do we believe in, though, on this side of the desk?
Due dates.
Due dates.
Big time. Right. Pregnancies, all over it.
He is due. I mean, his last big game. Now, I would say I was more impressed with him against the Texans. I know he had the 2 fumbles lost, 4 total. He had the interceptions. But he did throw for 3 touchdowns, didn't throw for 200 yards. So
And he didn't run much. And he ran for 10 yards. He had less than 200 total yards in there.
But I thought at times he was impressive. But the bottom line is that was not a monster game. And what you want from him is a monster game that's clean. So you want him to be clean. I actually think being clean without a monster game is the most important thing because I don't see a shootout. I would love to see a shootout. I see, though, a lower scoring game where they're really battling it out for the whole 60 minutes. And if he's clean, that'll be huge for them. But the bad news, Wilds, is this. The Seahawks don't really give up monster games.
Correct.
Outside of Matthew Stafford
and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
Those are the two guys all year.
Stafford and Baker are the only two to have a 100 passer rating or better. Stafford's the only one to throw for 3 touchdowns or more than 2 touchdowns against them in a game this season. So they just don't give up monster games. That's the bad news. The good news is that, look, Drake was right there with Stafford all year. He's in the MVP conference. They're the 2 MVP front runners.
Yeah.
So if one could have a monster game against them, you would think the other one is capable of doing it. So I'm open to it. I think he's got a chance to do it. And if it's a shootout, Nick, I think he can have a monster game. Win or lose, if they are both putting up a ton of points, then I think Drake can match Darnold throw for throw, yard for yard, touchdown for touchdown. But it's going to be tough against that defense.
A shootout would be shocking. I think Vegas has the over-under. I've seen 46.
46.
I've seen
I would be surprised.
So a shootout would be shocking. You don't buy there were Drake and Matthew Stafford were 1-2 in MVP or 2-1, however you want to look at it. They were the peers in the cream of the crop of the NFL, and one guy lit up this defense. So the other guy might also be successful against this defense?
I think it's kind of a false choice because I think you're asking me to say I believe something that I don't think you, the Patriot fan, believe, which is I don't think you believe that the Patriots' path to victory is Drake Maye having a monster game. I do think the Patriots can win, but I also think Stafford had 3 significant advantages against Seattle that Drake doesn't have. One is raw experience in the league, 17 years in, having seen every type of defense one can see. The other one is experience against that specific opponent, being a divisional opponent. He played twice last year, twice this year, and then once again in the playoffs. And the third one was Stafford's season was littered with monster games. Stafford, if we were to say, hey, Stafford and Drake Maye, put their 10 biggest combined, the 10 biggest games those guys had this season, and rank them, I bet it would be 7 Stafford games and 3 Drake Maye games, maybe 8 Stafford and 2. Which is not to say Drake didn't have an MVP case, because if you're like, hey, show me the 6 worst games these two guys had, it'd be 5 Stafford and 1 Drake Maye. Drake was just incredibly metronomically efficient and steady. So I don't think monster game is the Patriots' path. I also think...
So you think they can't win a shootout?
I can't is too strong. It is not what I would say their path forward would be. Also, this was that side of the desk very recently loved them some completion percentage. These playoffs, we have not heard much about completion percentage because your guy is completing 55% of his passes, which is below the Caleb Williams line for the year. That was the big knock. Is that true? Much below, yes.
But part of it also
much below?
is...
I think Caleb was 59%.
Yeah,
55% would have been the lowest in the league this year.
Goodness.
He hasn't had and that's not one bad playoff game dragging it down. He doesn't have a single playoff game at 60. So, and no matter how much better it feels, shoulder's a little banged up to some degree. There's just not a lot of reason for me to believe that you're about to have what would be objectively the best or second best game of his entire career in this spot against this defense.
What do you consider a monster game? Would 3 touchdowns be a monster game?
3 touchdowns and more than 250 yards.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he throws for 254 and 3 touchdowns, no picks, that's a monster game.
Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't have to be 300 yards. Nobody.
Yeah, 300 yards.
Right, 300 yards plus and 2 touchdowns. Or 250 plus and 3 touchdowns, assuming there's not a bunch of turnovers with it. That'd be a monster game.
Regular season averaged a little under 260. So 300 yards would be a lot, especially against this defense. But I still feel
he just doesn't do that.
Maybe 2 touchdowns. Maybe 2. Just 2. James Harden looking for a new team again. Now, the Clippers have been rolling of late. They're 15-5 in their last 20. But Harden, according to Mark Stein, is looking for a contract extension, Brou. Yeah. He signed a 2-year, $82 million extension in the offseason. Cavs are supposedly interested. There's some Garland talk. Your reaction to this latest Harden trade demand, and we go through this about every 18 months or
Correct. It really.
this around.
And because people have been shocked, they woke up, oh my gosh, wow, that Harden, they might trade him. Like you said, they're cooking. I think 17-4 going into last night over the last 21 games. Harden's playing great. And I hate to say it, but this is just the typical, he wants a new contract. He has 1 year left on his deal at about $40-something million. It's a player option. He's clearly gone to them and been like, I want a new contract. I'm going to opt out. I want a new contract. And if not, let's work on a trade. And so, look, they're not, as well as they're playing, they're not winning the championship this year. They're not getting out of the West. So if I'm the Clippers, Nick, and Darius Garland is the player in Cleveland. They're talking about 18 points, 6-7 assists a game. He's been injured, but if I could get him, he's locked up for 2 seasons after this one. For James Harden, who I'm not going to win the championship anyway, Harden's 36, Garland's 26. I'm doing it if I'm the Clippers.
100%.
Now, if I'm the Cavs,
why?
For this season, they've had their issues in the playoffs. They haven't been tough enough, whatever. I get it. Harden's not the one to carry you in the postseason. But on that team, Mitchell, obviously, Donovan Mitchell's the number one guy. I mean, Mobley, you can argue, could be the number 2 guy. And then if you just need Harden to be that facilitator and, he's going to score his points, but it's really Mitchell and Mobley, then maybe you think, okay, take a shot. The problem is this, and I agree with you. I see your face over there, Nick.
Sorry.
I'm not trying to lock up. Like, there's no way before Thursday, if I'm Cleveland, I'm agreeing to James Harden with, we're going to give you 3 years, $120 million going forward or whatever. There's no way I do that. Look, if they were to trade for Harden, no contract extension in place, and it goes well for them in the playoffs. Harden's a great facilitator. Mitchell goes berserk. The bigs for Cleveland play well. And maybe they either get to the conference finals and lose in a tough series or get to the finals. Then I'll talk with James Harden about, okay, maybe we can do an extension. But there's no way I'm agreeing to that now, especially with Harden's record in the playoffs of not being at his best. So that's what's going on here. And I can't think of another team, Nick. I wouldn't have thought Cleveland, to be honest, but maybe Milwaukee. Let's see if this can keep Giannis here or something like that.
I guess Milwaukee, I wouldn't hate it because you're at that point, you're just, just firing off.
Just desperation.
Desperation, Hail Marys. Darius Garland has been banged up. That toe that he hurt seems to have really bedeviled him for multiple seasons. He's undersized. He's an imperfect player. I would not trade Darius Garland for James Harden under any circumstances. You know why? And I'm sorry to be harsh, but if anybody deserves it, and this is on the court, it's fair. It's this guy. All this guy does is quit on teams and fold in the playoffs. For a decade.
You used to be a huge fan.
I was correct. No, I was, when Brou and I first did any TV together, when this show first started, 2017, 2018, I argued prematurely, it was more of a projection, but I argued it. He's the best player ever without a ring. And his all-NBAs, his MVP finishes, scoring title, assist title, 36 a game, 34 a game in the regular season, that put him next to Karl Malone or Elgin or any of those guys. And eventually he'll get there. And since I started making that argument, he's quit on 4 teams and folded in 6 playoff series. A quick reminder, folks. He went to Houston. He got Dwight Howard. Didn't quite work. Got Chris Paul. That could have worked. They got a little unlucky with Chris's hamstring. He then wanted Chris out. They mortgaged all the picks to bring in Russell Westbrook. That seems like it's working. Game 4 against the Lakers, 2 for 11. Season over, series over. And then James Harden's in a fat suit demanding a trade. Plays 2 games, quits on the court. They send him to Brooklyn. Brooklyn, it's scary hours time. That team can win. Kyrie turns his ankle. He hurts his hamstring. Comes back for Game 5, 1 for 10. Game 7 against Milwaukee, 5 for 17. Early next season, quits again.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. Darryl saves him, brings him to Philly. That first playoff series, they have a game 6 at home. Goes 4 for 16, then a 3 for 11 in game 7. And then he goes to China and is like to a bunch of kids on an Adidas tour who I don't know how many spoke English. He's like, I want to make a statement. Daryl Morey's a liar and I'll never play for his team again. The Clippers trade for him. His first year with the Clippers in the playoffs. He goes 2 for 12 and then 5 for 16 in games 5 and 6. The Clippers swallow it. Then last year in game 7 goes 2 for 8 and they give him an extension. Yeah. And the team is finally winning this year, months after the extension. He doesn't show up for work in Phoenix, goes to an Arizona State basketball game 10 minutes from where his team is playing basketball. They call it personal reasons, and he demands a trade. You can't win with this guy. He's an all-time great player and an all-time great quitter and an all-time great choker. That is what his NBA legacy is. So you don't trade for him, Cleveland. Don't do that. It's a bad idea.
How about Washington?
Washington would be perfect. You don't have to worry about the playoffs. No. He can go there and average 28 and 8. I mean, it's very disappointing because I've said, and I stand by this, regular season.
Yes.
He is one of the handful of greatest players he's an all-time great scorer and an all-time great playmaker. Like, there are very few of those guys who's just a great passer, assist, setup guy, but also can average 30 plus. Mm-hmm. But the playoffs, Nick spelled it out, it just...
I don't even mind if you choke in the playoffs. Like, hey, the stage is big.
But you can't... But no, that separates the great...
Failing on teams is not like a pressure situation.
This one is really... I mean, they've all been bad, but this, like, the team is
team's winning, and the team
finally turned it around.
He's probably made $500 million in his career.
And the team is shocked. They're like, what?
Like, really? Like,
his own teammates are like, what's going on?
The money part of it is so. Listen, I understand he left money on the table with Brooklyn, with Philly, and he feels burnt. The guy made $1 bajillion from wine in China, and the Adidas deal is, I think, the 4th biggest basketball contract any player's ever gotten in the history of the league. He's close to $1 billion total in earnings.
It's the 4th. The Adidas deal?
When it happened, it was. Maybe it has since been.
I've yet to see someone wear a pair of Harden. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll give you $5.
A few of them have been fresh. A few of them have been fresh.
You can walk from here to the Statue of Liberty.
No, you won't.
And call me if you see someone wearing a... Oh, you got new Hardens? What do they look like? Just draw one. Just draw one. Just draw one. If you're at home, just draw a pair of Hardens.
They got 3 stripes on them. That's all I know.
No, that's McGrady. Shoot. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The relationship between Belichick and Patriots owner Robert Kraft has been frosty, and now they've both been iced out of the Hall of Fame. Now, Robert Kraft has been in the mix for the Hall of Fame, but this was his first year as a finalist, and he did not get the 40 of the 50 votes that he needed. Here's his quick resume. 32 seasons as the Patriots owner, won a bunch of games, 20 division titles, pretty good. This is his 11th Super Bowl appearance, as Coach Mangini talked about, with his 3rd head coach. Got 6 wins, soon to be 7 Sunday night. Your reaction to this latest snub?
This has to be personal. I don't know what else it could be.
Maybe another
I know
voting
they wanted
quirk.
L.C. Greenwood and Ken Anderson, all those guys on the Hall of Fame. But he's got the best resume of any owner in professional sports, I would say. I mean, you know, I'm not thinking about baseball, but the Patriots, I'm older than you. The Patriots were an afterthought before he got there. They were just a team in the league. I mean, they got there one year. Steve Grogan, I think, to the Super Bowl. Like,
got crushed. They
were nothing. I mean, honestly.
That's fair, yeah.
And he hires Bill Parcells. He hires Bill Belichick, who hadn't done nothing to make you think he was going to become a great coach. And now he hires Mike Vrabel. He's won 6 Super Bowls, as many as any other franchise. The Steelers, the only other one to equal 6. He's been to 11 himself, more than any other franchise. And I know Belichick, I agree, if they want to keep him out for a year because of, Spygate and all that, okay, fine. This guy's been eligible to be in the Hall of Fame for years, decades, and he's not. And you got somebody like Jerry Jones in there. So this makes me wonder. This clearly isn't we're punishing him for a year. So I can't think of one reason, unless they're going to keep Patriots out for Spygate, like all of them.
No, I don't think. I think this is actually less objectionable, and I think it's actually a math problem, which is why I'm not as fired up as everybody else. So buried in some of the Belichick reporting was someone saying he actually did only come 1 vote shy, that he was 39.
Belichick.
That you need 40. So here's why that's relevant. It's 50 guys. They all submit 3 names. So there's 150 votes possible. If Bill Belichick gobbled up 39 of them without getting in, there's now, you can do that math, only 111 votes to go around. We know a lot of these voters prioritized the players. So my guess is, what the details on this is, he probably came a few votes short. And I also think because once you get, if Belichick got in the 30s and didn't get in, you now don't have the requisite 120 votes needed to get 3 other guys in. Yeah. So Belichick will have missed, and no one will, you won't have a 3-person seniors class. I'm guessing the way this is going to end up is we are going to have a 1-person senior class because the voters didn't do a good enough job or whatever in figuring out who. Everybody split votes with everybody else is what I think happened. Yeah. So I'm guessing that some people voted for Belichick instead of Kraft. Some people voted for Kraft instead of Belichick. And those people voted for 2 players, a lot of them. And then none of them got to the 40 votes needed.
But what about previous years?
Well, they changed the process on it. So, it didn't used to be you nominated 1 contributor, 1 coach, and 3 players. And so previous years, I'm not quite certain, if I'm being totally fair, the reporting from people around the Hall of Fame said he was en route, and then he had his incident in Florida, and that put him on the back burner. And so that happened. Now this was going to be his moment. And I think
was a few years ago.
That was years ago. And so I think he will eventually get in.
He's got to.
All the more momentum for my idea. You could put Kraft and Belichick and Gronk, let Brady go in a year early, put them all in together next year, and if Vinatieri, Richard Seymour, and Rodney Harrison can get in as well, you can have an all-Patriot class and make up for all of this next year.
Hall of Fame adjacent Julian Edelman.
He has not yet made the semifinals.
Look at the playoff numbers. Sam Darnold had an eventful media day. We discussed how big of a game he's going to have, but here's the best part of his Q&A. Take a listen.
He made it just for me. You did not make this. How about that? That's perfect. There you go.
Everybody, time for Sam. Come on.
No, you guys are good. You really don't have to do that.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pros' #1 most trusted app. If you're hearing me, I'm going to assume you're awake. And if you aren't, because while you're snoozing, someone else might be finding your dream home. That's where Realtor.com comes in. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, that's a lot of chances to find the place you've been dreaming of. Whether you're searching for a 2-story mid-century with a pool or a little extra space with a spa-inspired bathroom, Realtor.com can help you find it today. So quit hitting that snooze button. Realtor.com isn't sleeping on finding your dream home, and neither should you. Download the Realtor.com app today, 'cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pros #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
Have I been on eBay looking at vintage Daytona 500 shirts?
In the world?
Yes, I have.
Hey, those are
This is a great promo.
This is the
those,
best
like,
I've ever
jackets?
looked in any promo.
They look great.
I think I should
love
wear
those
that type of
jackets.
outfit on an everyday basis.
Can we, when
You
we're
get
at
those
Daytona,
jackets
can
to
we
wear
wear
during the
that?
show?
Yes,
That'd
they're
be
hot.
Though. It's all right. It's cold everywhere.
Well, and just the top. We don't have to wear the whole.
No,
I'm wearing the
whole
full thing and the shoes.
What are you going to do if we catch on fire?
We're at Daytona 500. Sam Darnold has had a clean playoffs so far, but he did lead the league in turnovers this year. Patriots defense has forced 8 turnovers these playoffs. Here's Sam with a cameo from Drake Maye on the Patriots defense.
Incredible defense. Just the scheme, first and foremost. It's a great scheme, but the players, they make it come to life. And you see that on tape. I enjoy watching their defense play. And it's been funny, usually you can watch a defense every now and then, and, you might have some crossover, but there's been no crossover this year with us, playing any common opponents as the Patriots. And so it's been really fun, the past week or so, getting to dive into this defense and just how fast they are and how great of a scheme they have.
We both played Tampa, though, didn't we?
Both played. I think you both played the NFC South, didn't you? Didn't you
Yeah.
both play Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he talking about?
Oh, I don't know.
Somebody's not locked in, dude. Led the NFL in turnovers before making the Super Bowl in the last 30 years. It's Eli and Sam Darnold. So heck,
Bad news for you, buddy.
Right.
How'd that one?
I guess that's a good thing.
That is not good.
Coach, you trust Sam Darnold to have a clean game?
No, I don't trust Sam Darnold to have a clean game. I think that he's going to have an opportunity. I hope he does, because I love his story. But I do think that New England brings a lot of different looks, a lot of different packages, game plan specific things. They're going to do a good job of disguising, and they're going to force him to make post-snap decisions. So it's going to come down to how well he can assess what they actually are in after the snap, and that creates great opportunities for him, because there's going to be times where guys aren't in the exact spot they need to be, and if he can take advantage of it, there's chances for big plays, but there's also chances for New England to generate huge plays, either with strip sacks, interceptions, all those things that come with forcing a quarterback to make post-snap decisions.
Yeah, look, I think he can play a game where he doesn't throw an interception. But like you said, you saw the turnovers. It was 14 interceptions and 6 fumbles. So I think a key is the pass rush. So if he's fairly comfortable, then I think he can play a clean game. But if they can get enough of a rush, and they've been great in the postseason with the pass rush, if they can pressure him and get him uncomfortable, then either an interception or 2 or a fumble should be on the table for him. But the interceptions, I do think he can be clean in there, because if you look at, he had 14 interceptions, as I said. 6 of them were against the Rams.
In 2 games against.
And 2 games. So if you take out those 2 regular season games against the Rams, in his 17 games this year, the other 17, he's only had 8 interceptions. And so I think that he can play a clean game if they give him a little protection. The key is the fumbling, though. I'm worried about that.
I hate but respect the Seahawks' difficulty with the Rams. It just makes it very difficult. Like, just take out these Rams games, and Sam Darnold's better, and the defense is way better. It's interesting that they've had such a problem with the Rams.
There's a prolific quarterback they're facing, and the defense.
Yeah,
I get it,
But they
that
did go
doesn't explain
2-1
Darnold.
against them.
Yeah.
They had a ton of trouble, statistical trouble with them. And listen, they only lost 3 times all year. One of them was to the Rams, and they could have gone 0-3 against them.
Yeah.
They could have. In theory, could have gone 3-0 against them. But yeah, the Rams, and there is less of a if Matt Stafford did it against the Seattle defense, why can't Drake Maye? Less of that applies to the Rams defense and the Pats defense. Because the Pats defense is better than the Rams defense. Why did they? You're definitely gonna hate my answer to this, and you might hate my answer to this.
Me and Coach are in lockstep, so I'm gonna whatever Coach says, I agree.
Despite the fact that Darnold's thrown like his last 100 passes or something without throwing a pick, somewhere around there.
Last 3 games.
Yeah, 107.
Oh no, I swear, I just didn't.
3 straight games.
I didn't cheat off your paper, buddy.
How'd you even know it was on my paper?
You just asked me if I cheated off your paper.
Good question.
I don't trust him to have a clean game. I don't trust Drake to have a clean game, and I don't think it necessarily matters because there are only 2 teams in the league all year who are totally equipped and totally used to winning games when their quarterback turns it over multiple times. And they are the 2 teams playing in this game. 2 teams all year with a winning record, and the 2 teams with the most wins when their quarterback has 2+ turnovers. It's these 2 teams. The Seahawks are 5-1 when their quarterback turns it over multiple times. The Patriots are 4-1 when their quarterback turns it over multiple times. So for one reason or another, both of these teams, probably because of how well-rounded they are, well-coached they are, they have been able to overcome more than any other team in the league by a lot. And no other team's above 500, and no other team has more than 3 wins. Both these teams are well above 500 and more than 3 wins in that circumstance.
Who have I compared Drake Maye to?
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. They both have that potential to spiral, and they both have that potential to have really impressive big games. And that's my question with Sam is if something happens early, is it going to be like that Rams 1 game where it goes to 4 picks? Does he spiral, or is he able to, take a step back, go, recoup, and then go back out and play the next series? And to some degree with Drake, it'll be the same thing. That the moment, especially early in the Super Bowl, the tension of the early part of the Super Bowl is real. And then once you get through that initial part of it, then it settles down. You're just back into a regular game. So it's.
So I assume Josh knows that, right? That this is like Josh's 9th Super Bowl, I think.
Yep.
That Josh is accounting for how nervous Drake is going to be early in the game. Just from the Denver game, he didn't play great, obviously, and I do think some of it was nerves. But to win the game, he's like, you know what? I'm going to call my own number here and get the first down and send us to the Super Bowl. So I saw a nervous guy early in the game, and late in the game, I saw like you couldn't
really
Except
call
we know he didn't call his own number.
No, so
Josh McDaniels called his
Well,
number.
still,
But this is what we always do in that situation is you don't tell anybody else. So when you're on the headphone, you tell the quarterback, hey, look, call this play. Don't tell anybody you're going to keep it. Just tell them. We're running this
So
play.
wait, that's been done before?
It really was a
It wasn't invented by Josh McDaniel and Drake Maye.
But what I'm saying is,
we're not sending that ball to Canton.
No, they made it right. They made it out to be like, oh my God.
What you always
never with a young quarterback.
You've seen Tom do it. You've seen different guys do it over time. So the whole deal is you don't want anybody else to know because you want them to sell out on the play that's being done because that's the most effective way to get the defense to bite. So you're just in the headset. You're like, you're going to keep this, but tell everybody else we're running this play.
I would still feel some kind of way if I was on the offensive line.
Because they're
I would have done my job regardless. You
Yeah.
can tell me.
Yeah.
I wanted to know.
They're basically saying you're no Jackson Blade.
Wow.
We can't trust you to
Jackson
act.
Blade could do
Yeah.
it.
Another point in Seattle's favor.
Thank you.
I
was
thought
it?
Drake had come up with some fantastic play
my
on his
goodness.
own. It's just
Tell him the
mundane.
headset.
The Bills have a new coach. They also have a new offensive philosophy. An article by Tyler Dunn on golongtd.com outlines what looks to be a more aggressive offensive approach from the new Bills coach. Against elite quarterbacks, McDermott would stress the need to possess the ball and play keep away. Now, Brady was a good soldier who respected his boss. He surely remembered how he got the OC job. McDermott fired Ken Dorsey because he believed Dorsey's balance was out of whack. Brady also did not demean or criticize McDermott, okay? I don't think he demeaned or
It
criticized.
sounds like Joe Brady was a source for this story.
But it was
he
clear
talked with Brady and Brandon Beane. But go
he
ahead.
would have called a few games differently if he was in charge. So are you expecting a more aggressive Bills offense, or just your reaction to this blurb?
No, I think you will. And at this point, and we're going to talk to Josh in about 45 minutes, I'm going to ask him this. I have in the past pushed back on the Josh Allen, Brett Favre comps because up until a year ago, Josh hadn't won an MVP. Favre won 3 in a row. Josh still hasn't been to a Super Bowl. Favre went to back-to-back and won one. But stylistically, I do understand the comp. Now, Favre was not as devastating a runner as Josh, obviously, but in order to get the best Brett Favre, you had to accept some of the worst Brett Favre. And I think you saw the playoff game they just lost, 4 turnovers you can't overcome that. but they were in position to overcome
They
3
could've
of them.
won.
When he was sitting at 3, they were with the ball in overtime. And one of those 3 was an outrageous mistake. Like that, it doesn't have to be a part of anything. I just think trying to put a governor on Josh Allen, unless Brandon Beane over the next offseason or 2 is able to build a far better supporting cast where it's like, oh, we have a great roster. But I don't see that for Buffalo. So I do think you have to lean into your biggest strength, which is Josh Allen's ability to make magic. And I don't think, Coach, he's ever going to be this cautious surgeon of a quarterback.
Look, I hate this quote. Against elite quarterbacks, he made him play keep away. What a terrible idea by a head coach. Against elite quarterbacks, he made him play keep away. What were their stats? They were 1 in rush yards, 4th in total yards, 4th in points. Terrible offense. 4th in points, 15th in passing yards. Oh, okay. How did he win the MVP? What was the reason Josh Allen won the MVP? He cut back on his turnovers. I don't think that's some subjective, crazy idea that I had. That was pretty well documented that everybody said, okay, he was able to cut back his turnovers, and it made a big difference. So now, because they're going to take the governor off him, because McDermott did such a terrible job trying to keep elite quarterbacks off the field, when defensively they were 28th against the rush, 12th in points per game, 7th in yards per game, and 1st against the pass. So the defense did have some struggles. So the idea of supporting the defense and playing complementary football, that's the reason why you fire a guy. To me, that makes total sense why you'd get rid of a guy, because he tried to play complementary football and win games from a holistic approach. And you make a decision because a catch wasn't a catch and guys were crying in the locker room and now you're justifying it? Like, come on.
I mean, look, they were struggling. I think they were 500 when Brady took over for Dorsey, and then they played great football from that point on. But the last 2 years, Josh has thrown it the least of his whole career, other than his rookie season.
Yep.
Last year, he was 16th in the league in attempts. So, and his touchdown percentage has remained fairly, and interception percentage are pretty close to what they were when he was throwing it a lot more before Brady took over. So what I would do, I would be willing to try it, Coach. I mean, I would be willing to see, can we get more out of Josh? Because those years that he was throwing 15 interceptions a year, he was also throwing nearly 40 touchdowns too. So, and they obviously were successful those years too.
But you do it even with that receiver that they didn't want to draft?
Keon,
you throw it with that guy that they didn't want to draft?
Bean's quote
McDermott forced him to draft that guy.
Bean said that he has to go out and get the horses to support what Brady wants to do, which presumably means you're going to get a legit number 1 receiver.
Well, he's gotten those 2 Pro Bowlers out of the 52 picks or whatever it is. So
no,
pretty high.
Coach, I hear you against, Bean.
I'm just saying, like, don't try to justify a decision after the fact and kill a dude for trying to play complimentary football.
They were being respectful, Coach.
It's that being respectful.
Brady was
He was a good soldier.
He was a good soldier. He didn't kill him in the private interview either.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pros' #1 most trusted app. Finding a home is like dating. You're not just looking for a place to live, you're searching for the one. That's where Realtor.com comes in. Like any good matchmaker, they know exactly where to look. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, you could find your perfect match today. Ranch style with a pool, barn dominium with an in-law suite, Realtor.com's got 'em. Modern craftsman with a big yard and a treehouse out back. Realtor.com will have you saying, yep, that's the one. No more swiping. It's time to start finding. Download the Realtor.com app today, cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pros #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
Once the Super Bowl final whistle blows, that's when I turn into Taylor Sheridan.
Wow.
Okay.
Drama about the Cowboys in Texas. That's me.
You should have
What? What do you want me to
Good idea.
Taylor Sheridan.
Good idea.
I'm like Landon.
Or execution.
There was a better way.
You really blew that.
Because there's a lot of drama.
Yeah, I get it.
And I'll be writing the scripts.
Go ahead.
George Pickens, both productive and puzzling. Here he is on his contract with a special cameo from CeeDee Lamb, and guess who else? Micah Parsons.
Wow.
Here's Clarence Hill. Take a listen.
Jerry said because of you got Micah's money, you're going to get Micah's money. Because if Micah's not there, they can pay you.
I mean, it's a very possibility. Everything in life is a possibility. But we definitely could have used Micah Parsons. We definitely could have used his talents. We know he was in Dallas for a long time. He loved it. But all I can say is a very high possibility.
First of all, perfect question from Clarence Hill. that just made the whole interview.
Well done, Michael. Didn't expect
all right, was this a good idea to sign George Pickens?
Would it be a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't been signed yet.
Well, look, Pickens was fantastic this year. I would be willing to give him the franchise tag.
Oh, he
and
won't
I know
like
he's not going to
that.
be happy. But here's the deal. Okay, we know how great he was this year offensively.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the 7th best scoring offense in the league this year with Pickens being great. Last year, we could throw out Dak was hurt, but they went down to 21. But the 3 previous years, no George Pickens. They were the highest scoring offense in 2023, 4th in 2022, highest scoring in 2021 without George Pickens. So honestly, I would say instead of, other than the franchise tag, if he won't accept that, I would use that money to go get some defensive players. I am going to have a high-powered offense just with Dak and CeeDee Lamb and whatever else we got. So he's great. And I don't know if I'd feel this way, Coach, if Pickens hadn't
quit
lollygagged in 2 games in the last, few critical games. So that did not sit well with me, and it shouldn't sit well with the Cowboys.
Yeah, if you pay CD and you pay Dak and now you pay Pickens, you're on that Cincinnati Bengals program, and that's hard to sustain. The other issue is this was a great season by George Pickens, but there's been some challenges over the course of his career, and Pittsburgh was willing to move on from him. Typically, when Pittsburgh moves on from a wide receiver, there's pretty good reasons as to why that happens. So whenever you make the decision to pay a player, especially the high market value, whatever behaviors that player has demonstrated, we don't know what's going on in the building. I don't know any of the backstory, but whatever behaviors there are, those things get magnified. And you have very little recourse once you pay that type of money in terms of trying to manage the situation. Yeah. So you really need to make that decision, not just in the context of how you're building your team, but also in the context of once we pay this guy, what is that going to look like? And if you could structure a contract where you're chasing the upside, I think that's a much better situation. But a guy like George Pickens with that production is probably going to have alternatives, and I imagine not settle for that structured of a deal.
So I'm a bit of a sucker for charming.
Oh, sure.
Wow.
And I want to root for George Pickens because his talent is undeniable. Mm-hmm. And when he's in a good headspace, like even in just that little 20 seconds there, I find him I'm like, oh, this is an affable, kind of funny, good-natured kid.
What about when he's doing wrestling moves on the field?
The problem is he has a long history from college to now of just not being able to stay locked in and professional on the football field. Yep. And I would be terrified if that guy did that in the waning moments of his contract year, what he would look like in year one of a massive deal. So I thought I was going to be in the minority here because I wrote, this is just not, I wouldn't personally pay this player. But to kind of gel our previous 2 segments, I do wonder if you couldn't in this circumstance use the Bills' open desperation against them a bit. Be like, hey, we are going to, we're going to franchise tag and trade George Pickens to the highest bidder. You guys missed out on Jalen Waddle. You missed out on other things. You're talking about having an explosive offense again. Would George Pickens and a third-round pick be worth your first-round pick in Buffalo.
Oh my God!
I would love
Holy cow.
If I'm Buffalo, I would love to get
but then they then have to pay him and they deal with it. But if you're Buffalo, it's like we're all in as is, and we have a huge need there. That to me it would be better use it for Dallas. They traded a third for Pickens to recoup more than that after your production, be good business, and for Buffalo, it would fill a need. So I wouldn't pay him if I were Dallas, but he obviously, if he were on the open market, would get paid a ton of money.
So Spot Track, for what it's worth, predicts Pickens at 4 years, $122 million.
Yeah, $30 million a year. It's a lot of money.
He's a tremendous receiver.
He's a tremendous player. It's just
when he's
scary.
Yeah.
Slipperiest and iciest segment in all of sports coming up next, a special Super Bowl veteran.
Brou must have gotten a different mountain because for him to have a lot of issues, it's a perfect.
I didn't think there was a lot of issues.
Yeah, I did.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Live from New York, it's the show that has... What are you doing?
I'm excited for Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen's coming up in a half
As the
an hour.
show's only, listen, OT, Danny's Josh Allen guy, but as regulation, I'm the only Josh Allen guy.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, who's the only guy that's believed in the Bills the last 2 years from start to finish?
I hope he hasn't watched any of the earlier shows.
Right,
Well,
the
we're gonna ask
roller
him about
coaster
that.
and all
We're gonna
that.
ask
That
him
was
about
you.
Did we pull the cartoon dust?
Yeah, we did.
I don't know if that's you, but the guy has a striking
strange.
resemblance.
Yeah,
but no
He
highlights.
also looks like he's wearing the suit I'm wearing
Yeah,
today.
I don't know if it's you or not.
Yeah,
but some similarities.
Yeah.
Second hour, first things first. Josh Allen coming up in half an hour. Today, Bru's Ballot, Super Bowl MVP
That's
edition. Are you
exciting.
doing Dark Horse Ballot too, or just regular?
I kind of went out on a limb with some of these.
Wow.
Now you
I like
haven't
that.
made your prediction
No,
yet,
I'm
but
okay.
if you have Darnold at 1, it feels like you would be tipping.
Well,
your hand.
I said I'm
Poker
leaning Seattle. I've been leaning Seattle since the game, championship games.
Yes, where they got lit up by the
And
Rams.
then Nick and Coach have given me some good fodder for leaning into the Seahawks. You haven't. You got to give me
Coach
some
has
stuff.
been coaches
heavy
all
Patriots.
Patriots.
Yeah, but he was talking about
Drake Maye.
Drake turning it over
Yeah,
and all that.
Sam Darnold, and one of Drake's things, and I don't make a big issue of it, was a throwaway Hail Mary interception.
Okay. That's supposed to move me?
4 of his fumbles, his team recovered. Like you take the good and the bad, buddy.
Pretty fortunate.
I need some good graphics from you in the next 2 days.
They're coming up. Dust. I don't like to be yelled at during the show. We're on the iciest segment in all of sports, Mahomes Mountain. Right now, we're at the end of our climb. We're 5 days away from the summit, and only 2 quarterbacks remain. Every day is a new challenge. A win on Sunday might get Drake and Darnold on the spot in this newest edition of the mountain. It's a special Super Bowl Veterans edition of Mahomes Mountain.
You've been busy lately or something, bro?
I don't want to do the. You know what I want to be? A cartoon character anymore. How about that? How about I don't want to have people in my mentions yelling at me because a rodent in the middle of Pennsylvania said there's going to be 8 more weeks of winter. That's not actually me. Maybe I just want to give cogent analysis. How about that, everybody?
Buddy.
This is it. This is now that the Patriots are
This is
good.
unbelievable.
You were fine being that guy when they were terrible.
I'm not asking you to do the whole AI stuff.
Yeah. Well, Gianno.
But I was
AI.
This is
you
the
just seen
hardest.
the AI thing. They're like, hey, did you see the AI? My head turns around like The Exorcist, and I'm looking at my own rear end. True story.
I want to see it.
Then
No, it's not
At
fine.
least put on the goggles.
You put on the goggles.
I'm up doing the work.
What's the work? Best quarterback. Nah, Joe Montana.
No. This took a long time.
It shouldn't have. I could have done it in 2 minutes. Tom Brady,
Dustin,
Joe
I'm aware of
Montana.
how much time we have.
Dusty
is pulling his hair out.
Because
Let's
in
start
the
the
control
meeting.
room.
Here are the guys amazingly. This is just based on your Super Bowl performances.
Wow.
These guys between them. Brou, you've already seen it. That's Jackson Blake.
But I'm still,
How do you have an
that's
IMDb
shocking.
page?
I mean, look at those names, Coach.
These guys have been to 12 Super Bowls between. They've won 5. They are not on the mountain because here is the truth. And it's also a reminder for if you are considered the star quarterback, and those guys obviously all were the engine behind your team, it doesn't matter how well you play in the Super Bowl if you win it. People are just like, you won these Super Bowls.
That is true.
Or they won 6 Super Bowls between them, pardon me. But here are their numbers in the Super Bowl. John Elway, 5 Super Bowl appearances. 3 touchdowns, a 59 passer rating. Peyton Manning.
8 picks.
Yeah, 8 picks. Peyton Manning, 4 Super Bowl appearances. 3 touchdowns, 77 passer rating. Big Ben, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 214 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 picks, 70 rating. So again, all-time legendary players, not legendary Super Bowl performers, which brings us to our 6-row, 21-player Super Bowl quarterback mountain. Bottom row, please. Jalen Hurts and his career 109 passer rating, 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, 1-1 record. Brett Favre, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, this close to being a back-to-back Super Bowl champion. Elway and the diving, spinning first down denied him that. Russell Wilson, a 117 career passer rating. He would have been, I have no idea how high, if not for the 1 interception he threw in his Super Bowl career, was a game-losing interception to deny himself a back-to-back. Aaron Rodgers, just 1 Super Bowl win ever, but 3 touchdowns, no picks. Drew Brees, 1 Super Bowl win ever, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And the one person on the mountain, Coach, who did not win a Super Bowl, Jake Delhomme, the greatest performance in a Super Bowl loss, playing an all-time great defense.
Both our safeties got hurt in the 4th quarter.
Okay, Coach. You won the game.
Special team.
Coach,
it was some
he
stat
threw
padding
for 3.
going on.
It wasn't the stat padding. The Patriots needed a field goal at the gun to win. He threw for 320, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 114 rating. It's a testament to you guys.
Eugene Wilson and
Coach,
Rodney Harrison both got hurt.
From you. Jake Delhomme made
let's just put it into context.
Row 5 are one-timers, but man, oh man, was it amazing their one time. Steve Young, 350 yards, 6 touchdowns, pretty good. Phil Simms, damn near a perfect game, 88% completions, 3 touchdowns, a 151 rating, highest single game rating in Super Bowl history. Nick Foles, KW and I were looking at it today. 3 passing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown, a kind of bad merchandise statue outside the stadium notwithstanding.
Still.
Joe Flacco, part of an all-time playoff heater, culminating in a 3-touchdown, 124 passer rating Super Bowl. And then Doug Williams, 4 touchdowns, 340 passing yards, 128 rating. They all only played in 1. They only need to play in 1. They were all-time performances. Now to the top 10. Eli, couple of the greatest throws in Super Bowl history. That throw to Mario Manningham. Obviously, people remember the helmet catch one, but the Manningham throw was the really unbelievable one. 2-0 beating the greatest player of all time in both of them, including denying an undefeated season. Jim Plunkett, who played in 2 Super Bowls, won them both, had 4 touchdowns, had no picks, had a 123 rating, and is kind of just forgotten to NFL history, to be totally honest.
Not a great career outside.
Right, but those Super Bowls pretty damn great. Troy Aikman, 5 touchdowns in his 3 Super Bowl games, 1 interception, undefeated, and Kurt Warner, who really is a couple bounces away from potentially having 3 rings. And in those, he played in 3 Super Bowls and averaged 385 passing yards across 3 Super Bowls. Threw a 70-yard touchdown to take the lead with 2 minutes left in the Super Bowl against Arizona. Obviously, was right there with you guys.
He had a pick 6, didn't he, in that?
Well, you know what?
And he's 1-2,
then
right?
Then 7 touchdowns if you include the pick 6.
Yeah, pick 6.
And yes, 1 and 2. 1 win, 2 losses. I was just saying, was a couple bounces away from potentially being 3-0. Row 3. Terry Bradshaw. First 2 Super Bowls, he didn't have to do much. He was obviously did much throughout the year, didn't have to do much in this Super Bowl. Last 2 Super Bowls, they needed to score points. They scored some points. He's 4-0 in Super Bowls. Bart Starr, 2-0 in his 2 Super Bowls, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. And Roger Staubach went to 4, won 2 of them, 8 touchdowns in those 4 Super Bowls. And now the top 3. Joe Montana, a perfect 11 touchdowns, 0 picks in Super Bowl games. And Patrick Mahomes, who is second most all-time in Super Bowl history in touchdowns, yards, and Super Bowl MVPs. And then, of course, atop the mountain, Tom Brady. He's been to 10. He won 7. He's most all-time in literally everything, except for sneakily, not most all-time in interceptions. Elway has that distinction. So most all-time in everything good, not most all-time in the one bad thing, even though he's played in 10 of them. He is atop Mahomes Mountain, Super Bowl only edition. Coach? It's a great mountain.
I love the Mahomes Mountains that you've been putting together, in the playoff run, and this is another good one.
Thank you.
I actually, I'm moving Eli up.
Oh, wow.
And you talked about the fact that the idea of a heater. That first run, okay, so they beat Tampa Bay on the road. Then they go and they beat Dallas, who was the number 1 seed. They were the 5th seed, which is the first time that ever happened. Then they go to Green Bay, and they beat Green Bay in overtime to go to the Super Bowl. Then they deny New England an undefeated season, which is amazing. His second run, so he's the MVP of that game. His second Super Bowl was the same thing. They had the worst record of anybody in the NFC that year, and they beat Atlanta pretty handily. Then they beat
15-1 Green Bay.
15-1 Green Bay in Green Bay, and they're the defending Super Bowl champs, yes. I believe, that year. Then they go to San Fran. They beat San Francisco in overtime. Then they beat the Patriots again. Now the Patriots are only 2.5 point favorites, I think, in that game, as opposed to the 12.5 that they were in the first game. He was an MVP the second time. And look, I'm a huge Roger Staubach fan, but he was 2-2, and he was MVP one of those 2 seasons. So, look, the idea of saying anything negative about Roger Staubach, I don't.
But you just want Eli.
I'm not, but I do think Eli's runs is pretty
So
unique.
here's I guess the one. So the Super Bowl runs graphic is instructive, and here would be the one distinction, because Eli does have an argument to be higher. And I'm not even trying to be like smart aleck here. It really is purely how you performed in the Super Bowls themselves. So Eli, like toughest, best paths to a championship, or that would then incorporate going to 15-1 Green Bay, all the road wins. This one now, what helps Eli?
Have 2 MVPs.
No, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, which is noteworthy.
And I think the eras too, where the Dallas Cowboys, there's no free agency, they were able to keep that group together. They had so many Hall of Famers on that team. I think there's something.
No, that's fair. Listen, it's parsing a bit on my end. Eli could have been up there. The tie, honestly, might have gone for me. Kind of have all the old timers on one row. It kind of made more sense. But I understand like I guess nobody's really going to argue about Bart Starr. Brou watched him, but aside from us, I was going to say Brou.
He covered the game.
Yeah, Brou, go ahead.
All right, since I did see these games, I have a lot of corrections.
You can't have a lot.
And I hate to do this because I'm the first guy that called him Jordan.
You can't be against
I'm the
Mahomes
first
on
guy that said he was the greatest quarterback we've ever seen.
I know it.
But I am moving Patrick Mahomes down and Terry Bradshaw up.
He loves Terry Bradshaw. We know
because look at the numbers.
Wait, you're moving Mahomes down to the 4th row?
Yes, and I'll get to that. But Terry Bradshaw up. Look at the numbers. Bradshaw 4-0 versus 3-2 in the Super Bowl. Passer rating demolishes it. Touchdown to interception in Bradshaw's favor. Yards per attempt almost doubles him. Yards per game, Mahomes got that. And completion percentage.
The reason the yards per attempt is so high is Bradshaw's first 2 Super Bowls, he completed 9 passes in each of them.
He has some of the most
really
iconic throws to Lynn Swann and John Stallworth in Super Bowl history.
For 96 yards.
Look at the numbers, Nick. Look at the passer rate. They were not a passing team. And he still was awesome. And then look at this. Mm-hmm. Look at his regular season numbers. This is why I compare him to Jalen Hurts. Look at the improvement in the Super Bowl. And Mahomes has actually declined in every single category in the Super Bowl versus regular season, Bradshaw improves in the regular season or in the Super Bowl. That passer rating is 40 points higher. Mahomes is 14 points lower. Every single thing, touchdown percentage, interception percentage, yards per attempt, passer.
So can I do my Mahomes defense, or do you want to go further before I go?
Well, this is where I'm at on Bradshaw. I'm gonna tell you why I'm dropping him the fourth row though.
Yeah.
So because Mahomes has had some bad Super Bowls, most notably his last one. But so that's Bradshaw. I don't think it's even an argument that Bradshaw should be higher. This is hard to see. But I got Mahomes down to 4. My third row is Aikman, who was 3-0, Bart Starr 2-0, and Eli 2-0. And again, all of them have Mahomes whipped in passer rating, in touchdown interception ratio, in yards per attempt. He's up there in yards per game.
Are 3-1.
Mahomes' touchdown interception ratio is not impressive.
But here's I guess what is impressive, and why I think having him on the fourth row is
he's done more. He was more impressive than Troy Aikman in Super Bowl.
Brou, he has more Super Bowl MVPs, certainly.
It's not just about MVPs. A lot of times that's
but there was.
It's not just about Super Bowl MVPs.
But Brou, every Super Bowl MVP Mahomes has won. You have been on the air the next day.
That's fine, but he also lost 2 Super Bowls and was terrible in the last Super Bowl. And there's 2 losses, he was bad.
Well, I think he was bad in one of the Super Bowls, the last one. I don't think he was bad in the other loss, but that's fine. But this is why. So here's Mahomes' career numbers in Super Bowls. I don't know how he's first, second, or third.
He's been to 5. Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Yards.
What Super Bowl MVPs? He's 9th in rushing yards. He's a quarterback. And yes, going to 5 helps you when we're evaluating who the best Super Bowl quarterbacks are if you've been good in 4 of them. So if you want to have Bradshaw ahead of him, I think Bradshaw ahead of him is, I thought you might go there, and I think that's legitimate. I think saying Aikman or Eli were better Super Bowl quarterbacks than Patrick Mahomes, I think is great.
Eli beat Tom Brady as a 12-point underdog, made the plays, made the throws that got it done, like miraculous throws.
Yes.
I don't know how you would have Mahomes over Eli.
Because I think Mahomes...
Just in the Super Bowl.
Right, and Mahomes in the Super Bowl had twice double-digit comebacks against the league's number 1 defense. Has led 3 game-winning drives in the Super Bowl. Has the second or third most everything in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so I just think he's one of the.
He's probably up there in the interceptions too.
I think he's right with Brady. Yeah, I think he's probably third.
He's got more than Brady.
Yeah,
Brady
6,
played in
7.
Twice as many.
Go ahead, KW.
I just want to focus on this year's Super Bowl. Do you see a scenario where Sam Darnold or Drake Maye can crack this list? Because
Definitely.
I wanted to go. The reason why we were looking up Nick Foles, coach, is I was like, it'd be great to knock Nick Foles off of this list. Not going to do that.
No.
I don't think either guy is going to do that. Jalen Hurts just played outstanding. He also has had, he led the leading rushers from the last 5 Super Bowls. Okay, so he was the leading rusher in the last Super Bowl at 72. But who do you think is the most vulnerable outside of Delhomme if you see Darnold?
I'm not sure who I think the most vulnerable is, but what I will tell you is that entire 5th row are guys who only ever played in 1 Super Bowl. Right. And so one all-time great performance can get you, on there.
But those guys.
But Foles we can't get to.
You could get to Flacco.
Flacco maybe. Phil Simms completed 88% of his passer rating, 151.
Yeah, no, it's the highest passer rating.
All those guys were incredible. Yeah.
I'll just take the win, I decided.
Yeah, don't worry about how.
But I'm trying to get on the mountain. Just take the win. Well, welcome back to First Things First. Joining us now on behalf of Natrol is Josh Allen. Josh, we've got 100 questions for you. But first, we want to ask you about Natrol, which you're here to promote.
Yeah, I think it just kind of starts off with trying to figure out my training and my diet over the last couple of years, and sleep was maybe one thing that I was neglecting, and finding Natrol and just being able to help prioritize my sleep, dial my sleep schedule in, waking up refreshed, re-energized and ready to go. And obviously this offseason's a big one, having a baby. So definitely going to need as much sleep as I can.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, well, you timed it well, though. Off-season would be the best time for it.
All right, Josh, so I don't know if you're a fan of print media, but there's been some controversy on the show on whether or not this comic that appeared in a Buffalo newspaper was...
not great.
Machine.
We're in the same suit and tie.
Now, I'm not saying it's you.
Oh, is that Nick?
There's no way to tell.
It's definitely Nick.
It sure looks like coincidental, my hair, beard, nose, jacket, and tie from like 2 years ago. So go ahead.
No, so, I guess it's you can settle it if that's
like
you or not.
To what you're wearing now.
Yeah.
Which is, that comic is from 2 years ago. And my wife, who does my clothes, picked this outfit for me 2 weeks ago. So this is a coincidence, but maybe it's meant to be. So here's an awkward question, but I'll just ask it. If you're aware of any of our show or anything I've done, do you think I'm unfair to you?
I don't think so. I mean, I think you guys do such a great job. I think some of these bits where you guys are coming in on stretchers and you're looking like me on my crutches the other day at the press conference.
It's usually me. That's usually me, John.
We understand, right? The media is kind of what makes this thing go, and you guys get people talking and having these conversations. And, I like to think of it as I'm good at my job if 31 other fan bases do not like me, right? So... For you guys, I don't know. If I was in your position, I was hoping everybody would like me, but I think you're going to have 50-50 people that don't like you to people that do like you. So I get it.
Nailed it. That's first of all, it's a great answer. I appreciate it. Very kind here. Also, and I'm going to sound like someone trying to prove they're not a racist. A lot of my best friends are Bills fans. I like the good people of Buffalo.
Your sister's brother dated.
Exactly right. 100, you nailed it. And the last couple years, it's been, interesting. Obviously, I'm a Chiefs guy, but you guys have been the primary rival. And as we have watched you over the last 5 years evolve and change as a player, one of the, I think, features of the way your play style has changed is you've become, I think it's fair to say, maybe more conservative, more careful. And I don't know if I, from afar, think that's actually the best version of Josh Allen. Or do you just need to go what I call crazy rhino mode and just be the best athlete on the field, kind of more of a Brett Favre style? How do you balance that between being able to do the wow Superman stuff with trying to be maybe more cautious than you were as a younger player?
I think it's all dictated based on flow of the game, understanding where I'm at in the season. Who do we have in there with us? Who's, is our defense rolling? Who's hurt, who's not? Obviously, I want to go out there. I want to make every play, and sometimes it puts me in a bad spot. I understand that, but I think more oftentimes than not, I've made those plays, and I continue to prove that. But obviously, if I can sit in the pocket and be 25 of 25 and don't have to run around, I would love to do that. So that's something, again, as I get older and I guess less athletic as you do with age. I'm not there yet. I still think you still have about till 32 to be in your prime as a male. So I feel like, I still got some time to run around and make some plays, but at the same time, I'm just trying to find ways to help this team win football games.
Josh, you mentioned the crutches, the stretcher, all that. That's usually me for the Ravens. The Ravens have been my team, and they've been getting beat up. And their quarterback, though, I think is in a similar situation as you, Lamar Jackson. All-time great, won MVPs like you have the MVP. A lot of people think you're the best player in the league, and you already have a case that you're a Hall of Famer. And so when you're that high a level of player, especially a quarterback, they judge you by Super Bowls. So how much pressure do you feel I got to get that monkey off my back and get the Super Bowl? And does that pressure kind of ratchet up every year that you don't get it done?
Listen, every year that's been my goal, is to go win a Super Bowl and bring a trophy back to Western New York. That's obviously everybody else is going in the league too. All 31 other teams are wanting the same thing. I played this game because I love it. I never played as a young kid because I thought I'd be in the NFL and getting paid to do what I do and do it for the trophies and the MVPs and all that stuff. obviously that's the ultimate goal, is to win a Super Bowl. And it takes so much throughout the season to get there and to go out and win it. And I'm going to keep working tirelessly until we get that opportunity to get it done. But, I've never really focused on the results, more so just going out there and playing the game that I love and how I love to play it. So, if the results come with that, hopefully they will, and I'll be very ecstatic when they do. But if not, I'm going to keep working to find that out.
The big bad wolf in the AFC has been Kansas City. When a lot of people, when they were out of the playoffs this year, a lot of people were like, okay, this is Josh's year. This is the Bills' year. How much of that was in not only your mind, but in the locker room, just because they've been the team that you guys haven't really gotten past all these years? Was that a thought? I don't know if it was a conversation among players, or it had to be somewhat on your guys' minds.
That's something that we don't talk about in the locker room, really. We don't really care so much about who else is in the playoffs with us, how to get there, how to get it done. The short answer is we didn't get it done this year, and that's on us. That's on me. We're going to keep working tirelessly until we find a way to get there and to get it done. I understand the people's thoughts of you don't have Mahomes, no Lamar, no Joe Burrow in the playoffs, but there's some dang good teams in this playoffs, right? They're not there just by chance. They're there for a reason. And the two teams that are playing in the Super Bowl this week, they deserve to be there because they've played the best throughout the season and got hot at the right time. And that is what it is. But we're gonna keep working hard.
What was it like sitting in on the head coach interviews?
You know what? It was a fun time. It was a unique perspective. A little awkward at times because I'm sitting there. I'm getting paid to be the quarterback, right? But I think having that perspective of what the pulse of the locker room is, being able to ask questions and help maybe Mr. Pagula and the Pagula family and some of the scouts and ultimately Brandon Bean, who those are guys that make the decisions. But having those questions being asked where they may have not have thought of those as a player perspective. So, it was interesting.
Before we got on air, we were talking about how you're friends with Sam Darnold and live near Sam Darnold. And Nick was saying that my hypothesis...
wait till you hear this from KW.
This is a fair hypothesis.
It's one of the most ridiculous ideas I've ever heard.
It's like if you went to the Big Ten, you root for the other Big Ten teams.
No, they're your rival.
If you're in the AFC East, you kind of root for the other AFC
It's the opposite.
And if two of the wide receivers have been very complimentary of you, and Matt Collins and Stephon Diggs, perhaps your Josh Allen would start rooting for the Patriots. What's good for the Patriots is good for the AFC East as a whole.
Okay.
At the same time, you're buddies with Sam Darnold. I get it. Who are you rooting for, and how do you see this game playing out?
Listen, I got great respect for both teams. I've been fortunate to know Coach Vrabel for a little bit. Have a lot of respect for him. Drake Maye, obviously, I've got a good relationship with him. But Sam Darnold, that's my boy. Like, we go back to draft. Even before the draft, we've hung out before the draft when we were in college. We met at some touchdown. I think it was the Touchdown Club of Columbus, going into his sophomore year, my junior year. And like I said, we lived pretty close together. We spent a lot of time in the offseason together playing golf and hanging out. So I'm rooting for my man there, 14 he wears number 14 for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, so I told you that would be the case. Thank you, Josh.
Matt Collins is a good guy. Matt Collins is giving you tips on how to do your windshield and stuff.
He likes a lot of people, but he's still don't worry. Miles is just trying to get everyone on the Patriots side. You mentioned the Darnold thing, and before you go, I am interested in this because you guys couldn't have been more different prospects. Like Darnold was considered such a safe bet. And the USC, the pedigree, all of it. And you were considered such a raw, like high upside, but project. And yet 3 years into your career, you guys couldn't have been in more different places where Darnold's team is, getting ready to be like, all right, this ain't going to work. And your team's getting ready to make you the highest paid player in the league. And Darnold's progression has been one, yours has been another. What can you tell us about your thoughts on how much circumstance and things almost out of your own control play into how quickly we see how good a quarterback can be and the quarterback kind of development and progression, because it seems to be no rhyme or reason to some of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a loaded question. I think early success, probably a situation, right? And where you fit into that offense, into that organization. I've been fortunate to be part of this organization where, Mr. Pegula and the whole Pegula family has given us resources for us to win football games. I don't know if you can say that for maybe Sam, but for a lot of other quarterbacks that have been drafted high, going into the right spot with the right team around him to go out there and make plays early. But to Sam's point, he's just continued to work hard. He's been at a few different stops. Obviously got his opportunity last year in Minnesota. They let him go, and now he's playing in the Super Bowl for the Seattle Seahawks. So he's worked extremely hard for it. And again, I've got nothing but love and respect for Sammy D, and I'll be pulling for him hard.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Josh. Heal up, and we look forward to seeing you. Hope you have a happy and healthy offseason, and congratulations on the family, too.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Josh.
First things
Congratulations.
first after the break.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Is this a must-win game?
A must-win? Yeah, I think every time we go out is a must-win game. I mean, it's kind of the attitude that I've always taken in the National Football League.
Yeah, I'd say it's
Shout out Dave Damashek for his annual "Is This a Must-Win Game" in Super Bowl Media Day.
Check out our podcast if you get a chance. And Gianna, we are right there. We're on the doorstep of $1 billion.
Well, yeah, but we better.
We're making it.
slowed up.
Yesterday wasn't great.
Guys, we're good.
We're 1.36 million away. We have 5 days. It is what it is.
You're not a.
It is what it is.
It's over.
I hope
like
so
Mahomes
too. I'm the biggest supporter of Gianna on the show. Brew doesn't call her the right name, and you make her work extra to do your podcast.
She says she likes being called Giannis.
That's not true.
She did.
Coming up tomorrow.
I did ask her.
It's
Can I do this?
Nick's Tears. But right now, it's a special edition of Brew's Ballot. We were going to do Dark Horse MVP, but decided to just go
I mixed
real
it up
MVPs,
a little bit.
But maybe later on, Dark Horse.
Well, I mixed it up. I think I'm going to surprise you guys with some of my answers. We're going to start at number 5. DeMarcus Lawrence.
Interesting.
All right, now he has 2 sacks in the 2 playoff games, 3 forced fumbles. So I'm thinking if he can get pressure on your boy Drake, force a few fumbles, maybe get a sack or 2, he could.
Don't hate it.
He could get it. You do hate it because
I like the rationale because I have a similar rationale on the other side.
You will like this one though. Travion Henderson. All right, I know everybody's talking about Ramondre. This is, I think, the breakaway guy. I could see him. What was it against the Buccaneers? I think 2 runs of 50 or more yards. He's a speedster. I could see him having a huge run that just maybe decided the game.
Interesting.
A 50, 60 yarder.
Can I add
with his
to
wheels.
that? Both of his 3 longest runs of the year have come against split safety looks. This is courtesy of your buddy Bill Simmons.
Nice.
And Seattle plays a disproportionate amount of split safety, so because he has really been out of the game plan the last few weeks. Maybe he's back in for those purposes.
Can I interrupt? Is that okay?
Yeah.
There's some thought that he's back because of these pass rushes that you have to have Ramondre in there because he can't block. There's another thought, Coach.
It's the first one. They're not saving him.
Josh McDaniels.
It's been secret. They were
put him on ice a little bit. Hey, Travion, no more film for you.
It was so easy to win the AFC title game by 3 points.
We're throwing the ball away. At some point, we're just punting.
You're not really stashing dudes in the playoffs.
But you like it. I told you.
I like it a lot.
Number 3, I think Nick's going to like this one. Rashid Shaheed. All right. The only guy in the league, Coach, to return both a punt and a kickoff this year for touchdowns. 2 times, I think 2 kickoff returns, 1 punt. And we know about his speed. Even as a receiver, they're going to be obviously paying so much attention to JSN and then Cooper. And so he could even do some things as a receiver, but I would not put it past him to have a great punt return or kickoff return for a touchdown that, again, decides the game. We've already seen him do damage in the playoffs to San Francisco with that. So, and then, look, then at number 2 and number 1, I'm going with the quarterbacks, Drake Maye. If they pull it off, if it's a shootout, then his numbers are going to be huge. And then, of course, Darnold, number 1. Right now, I'm leaning Seahawks. And Josh Allen gave me another check in the Seahawks department. It's just a lot going on for the Seahawks.
Josh Allen said he likes Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but he was really high on Darnold.
Correct.
That moved me a little bit.
It sounds like they're pretty close friends.
Yeah, that's his boy.
I don't know if that deserves.
Calling the man a liar.
He's Josh Allen.
Exactly.
He's an MVP.
I mean, he's seen. Let me tell you this much. Here's what I do know. If Josh Allen, after playing the Patriots twice, thought they were a juggernaut, his commentary would have been more, listen, I love Sam and I think he can do it and I'll be rooting for him. But man, oh man, they're running into a buzzsaw. Instead, it was none of that. And
he
so,
barely even mentioned him.
Exactly.
I don't think he did.
Probably
so I'm just saying.
Tired of hearing about the Patriots. The last thing he wants to talk about is the Patriots.
Coach is trying to get me.
Brou, can I tell you so how much I love the fact that you have Rashid Shaheed on here? And it's because it gives me an opportunity to play a clip I have been trying to play for 2 months.
Oh, for 2 months.
For 2 months. Trade deadline day. Hit the clip. I think the best trade that was made today was Rashid Shaheed. I think that's the most impactful. I think it's the team with the highest chance of going on a real playoff run. You gave up the least amount of real equity. I think he is not asked to be a one-man solution to a problem. So while everyone was talking Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, this show with an ill-fitting vest that day was saying Rashid Shaheed.
Yes.
And he was great in the comeback against the Rams the first time around. Yep. He was great. He got the playoffs going for them.
He basically ended that game on the
He scored the game-winning touchdown on the opening kick return, and got this game flipped around in Week 16. So I'm surprised. I don't know if Coach probably likes that JSN isn't on there because he thinks JSN is just. Patriots are going to be the one team all year to guard JSN.
Well, yeah, because that means the quarterback.
But Cooper Kupp won it.
It's possible.
Yeah, Branch won it.
Yeah, Branch was. Yeah, he was outstanding. He had 11 receptions or something that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess he could have 11. I like the ballot. I like the fact that you put DeMarcus Lawrence on it. I like adding a defensive player. What's this? His first time in 11 years to have a chance to go to
make it past round 2.
Yeah, the NFC Championship game and
all he had to
Super
do was
Bowl.
leave the Cowboys.
And they've talked a lot in the locker room about his impact on the group, especially later in the season, his energy. And yeah, I think that's a good dark horse.
If you like Rashid Shaheed, can I also interest you in Marcus Jones, who has the ability to play defense and also had a pick 6 already in the playoffs. He'll also be returning punts.
And all-pro return.
I agree with that.
Not a bad blitzer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you get a sack, a pick 6.
I view Travion as the answer to Rashid. I viewed him because big play guy. I viewed him as
first things first. Overtime next.
Live from New York, it's First Things First Overtime. Today, reacting to Josh Allen and what is going on in the Bills locker room and what he thinks about some other superstar quarterbacks. Meanwhile, where do you want to see James Harden land? Cleveland?
Wow.
Parkins loves it.
I can't wait to talk about this. Great trade. I hope it goes through.
For the Clippers?
For the Cavs.
We just basically went on a roast session.
Yeah.
So it's
no, listen, if we want to relitigate James Harden's past, you guys were spot on.
Should give him the
Well, let's say we're about to do it. We can't do it at
It's a special edition of Top 10 Tuesday. It's not the best players in the Super Bowl, but it's players who will decide the Super Bowl.
That's correct. Top 10 guys most likely to decide.
Got it. Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wildes, Nick Wright, and this is Danny Parkins. Yeah. So do you think some guys will have dud games that they're actually good players but won't show up? Will the stage be too big?
Ooh, I like that. Or just maybe this game, the game flow doesn't call for them to be that involved in the game. Who knows? Stay tuned.
Right there on the verge of stud or dud.
They did something like that in OT yesterday.
We have to.
They
Poor
removed
Dusty.
stud. They just did who's
You
more
were
likely
mad
to
at
be
Dusty.
a dud.
You and Dusty have been in each other's crosshairs all day. In order to make it up for him, tomorrow we have to do stud or dud.
We're not
Joanna,
doing that. Let's
post-game,
do
stud or dud.
today's show today.
Wow, dud.
It's good leadership.
Josh Allen joined the show about a half an hour ago, and he talked about his path to the Super Bowl, who it involved and who it didn't involve. Take a listen.
We don't really care so much about who else is in the playoffs with us, how to get there, how to get it done. The short answer is we didn't get it done this year, and that's on us. That's on me. We're going to keep working tirelessly until we find a way to get there and to get it done. I understand the people's thoughts of you don't have Mahomes, no Lamar, no Joe Burrow in the playoffs, but there's some dang good teams in this playoffs, right? They're not there just by chance. They're there for a reason. And the two teams that are playing in the Super Bowl this week, they deserve to be there because they've played the best throughout the season. And
Okay, Perkins, your reaction. He was a great guest, and thanks again to Josh for joining us.
Yeah, I thought the whole conversation was kind of illuminating into why Josh Allen is a superstar and one of the best athletes in the world. That answer is super level-headed and correct. It's not a golf tournament. Like a golf tournament, you have to beat every golfer. He had to beat the Jaguars, and then you have to beat the next team. It's not one-on-one basketball. It's not him v. Mahomes. You just have to beat the team in front of you. It's great for us to talk about there's no Lamar, there's no Burrow, there's no Mahomes, so this is the Bills' year. But they can't think like that, and it seemed genuine that he didn't. So whether we can say this was their best chance or not, I believed him that he didn't feel that way. But also when, Nick was like, do you think I'm being fair to him or not? And you guys showed the cartoon, and nice suit, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing.
That was an incredible coincidence. More players should have his understanding of we generate all of this interest. People tune in for the games, but everything else is part of the conversation that drives fans to watch the games. That is such a healthy relationship with it's not mean-spirited. I like your guys' bits. He knows that he's a central main character in this whole sports talk, sports take industrial complex of which we live, and he genuinely seemed comfortable with it. His acknowledgement of the mortality of his athleticism. I just thought he came across great in that conversation.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was very mature. And, you see it in the sound bites in general. This is our first time interviewing him on the show. But, yeah, he came off like a great guy. I would say this, and I do think he was genuine about saying, look, we got to beat these other teams. We can't worry about no Lamar, Mahomes, whatever. But you're also human. And not just him, but everybody in that locker room. And it is just human nature to have felt like whether they, and I agree, I'm sure they didn't have a team meeting. Hey, the Chiefs are out this year. This is our year. No, but did some one-on-one conversations with some guys you're really close with, yo, the Chiefs are out, man. We got to get it done this year. This is our year. I would think that some of those conversations took place. You had to feel that way because this has been the team that's in your way. And Nick, we talked about it. Maybe that's why they were so much more emotional after this year's loss than in the previous years.
I mean, that's what even if none of those conversations took place, even after talking to Josh, my gut feeling is one of the reasons the loss hit them so hard was because that was bouncing around somewhere in their head. And it was not disrespect to the Patriots, not and we'll clearly beat them, but it was just the team we haven't been able to beat. We beat them in the regular season, and now they're not here, and we don't have to deal with it. But I don't know. What I do know is Danny's point was kind of my takeaway as well, which is I think it is incredibly difficult to be in today's sports media climate to be a A1 main character who's never won. And to not have that negatively affect your ability to win in the future. I've said for years that one of the reasons I think Kobe was never afraid to take the last shot was he got his first championship when he was a kid, and no one was ever going to be able to hang around his neck, you can't win. And one of the reasons I felt Peyton Manning wasn't better in the playoffs was because his first 2 playoff games he was bad, and he got marked with that to a degree. And Brady was clutch because he was clutch, but also because he was so clutch that one drive in 0-1 that then he didn't have to deal with the weight getting heavier.
I don't want to get on a tangent, but did you feel that affected LeBron in his first when he was with Dallas against Dallas?
100%. That it was that I think there is close to a 0% chance LeBron has that series against the Mavs if somehow they had won in 07. You know what I mean? If he had, which they weren't going to, but you know what I mean? Like that it was that the weight. So the reason I give that long explanation is I think Josh, it is so valuable that he has that disposition that he seems to have. Yeah. That he has a lot of reason to think I'm a jerk. I think I've been fair, but I dropped a banner that said the greatest to never do it. It was tongue-in-cheek. It was whatever. There's reasons for him to either not come on this show or to be surly when he's on here. The fact that he had that disposition to me is a good armor against getting in your own head next year or the year after, and I think that's legitimately, tangibly valuable for him in the Bills.
Yeah, it shows a level of security.
Yeah.
That he's a very secure person, which is great.
Yeah. Or he just doesn't watch the show. I mean, that's on board too, right?
I mean, he was quoting Brou being in the
That's true.
John, do you have
unless his people are like, hey,
Bills use your
they do
clips in
these
social
bits,
media.
Yeah, they do, they come
knows.
out in stretchers.
Yeah, he knows.
Maybe. Well, you didn't mention Weird and Wonderful once.
Now we get to the root of it.
He didn't mention
he didn't mention the door and step
He didn't mention the door. They got the door.
Listen, I was hoping he was an OT fan. I think he'd be the MVP.
What exactly is OT?
I'm the Josh Allen guy on the show.
Speaking of guys who haven't won yet.
And won't. And I hate to say it, he won't.
Clippers have been winning 15-5 in the last 20. But Harden is looking for a change of scenery. According to Mark Steindl, he's looking for a contract extension as well. He signed a 2-year, $82 million contract this offseason. That might not be enough, or enough security at least. Cavs are supposedly interested, and you love this.
Love it. I think what Kobe Altman and the Cavs have done in the last 48 to 72 hours, assuming this goes through, has made them the favorites in the Eastern Conference this year.
Wow.
I love it.
Why?
Well, there's a few things. And I have a debate background. You and I, we argue sports all the time. I just want on the front end not turn this in to re-legislating the last 12 years of James Harden's playoff failures. I will concede all of the points.
Okay. So what's going to be different this year, though?
It's partly that, and I think also...
Partly what?
Well, no, I think it might be different this year.
No, I mean, if you think they're going to win the East, it's going to be different. So why is he going to be different in these playoffs than all the other ones?
I would have traded Darius Garland for Keon Ellis, one of the 2 players they got in the Kings deal for Hunter.
Defensive.
Okay, the Cavs, we all watched the Cavs-Pacers series last year.
Yes.
Every time Darius Garland was on the floor, every single time, the Pacers...
His toe hurt, to be fair. He had a bad toe.
They are actioning him into, where is he on the court, and they are targeting him.
Right.
He is and
Harden's going to lock people up.
No. He's not. No, but Keon Ellis will. Keon Ellis is a great defensive.
Ellis is a great defensive.
He is a great defensive player. And Schroeder is a bench scorer. And Harden is having an awesome year this year. He's averaging 25 a game. And I think that the Cavs are in a spot with Donovan Mitchell being about to decline his player option, and they got 1 year left on Donovan Mitchell, that they are a little desperate. They know they can't win with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland as their backcourt because it is putting too much. They're too small. Yep. It's putting too much pressure on Allen and Mobley in their front court. So they changed up their backcourt, a bench scorer in Schroeder, a great defensive wing or guard in Ellis, and then they will roll the dice on a secondary scorer who is 6'5", compared to Garland, who is 6'1", in Harden, and saying, let's go try to win this with this very different makeup of a team that we had last year. And I can show you Garland. I mean, just in terms of how, like, the on-off rating for him, he's...
Yeah, and they've been talking about trading him for a few years.
Defensive rating. He is. And I do think, like, across the league, the real small guards, the Trae Youngs, the Ja Morants, they are huge liabilities in these playoff series where guys target them, and Garland fits into that category, and he's not healthy, and he's not available.
Starting to believe.
Hold on. And then the last piece of it, it's a role for this year, and then this is, again, part of it is the Donovan Mitchell piece. Mobley, Mitchell, Harden, LeBron next year, that team is the favorite in the East.
But okay, and I said earlier, for this year, I'm with you in that. Look, Donovan's my number one scorer. Maybe Mobley is a second option.
Mobley's awesome.
And then I got Harden as the playmaker. I'm willing to give that a shot for this year. But to do this deal, Harden is like sitting out now with a team in his hometown, with a team full of veterans that is playing phenomenal basketball over the last 2 months because he wants an extension. So are you ready right now, if you were Kobe Altman, the GM for the Cavs, to say, okay, we're going to, as part of this deal, we're giving you 3 years, $125 million. Because that's what's going to make Harden
wants
happy.
To leave the Clippers because they won't give him a deal.
What's going to make him happy in Cleveland if they're not committing to that?
Any long-term marriage with James Harden is obviously a risk, and it obviously will end poorly. But if you're a year away from losing Donovan Mitchell and being one of the worst teams in the NBA, I'm not terribly concerned about 3 years from now.
So can I?
So you would agree to do that contract extension?
Garland's value is low. I think getting Harden for Garland right now to make this run this year is a worthwhile gamble to try to keep Donovan Mitchell long term.
So and I'll be quick here because I know we need to get to the top 10.
Top 10 Tuesday.
I think all of your Darius, I think you're a little too down on Darius Garland, but directionally I agree with you. I think all your critiques are fair. But he does. We all agree he has some value in this league.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, if the goal is, but if you're like, we have to trade him because we have Donovan Mitchell, it doesn't fit here, fine. And I will be very simple on this. If my goal is to win a championship, I would rather trade Darius Garland for anyone than a guy who I know beyond a shadow of a doubt will play his worst basketball and sink our chances the moment it matters. And by the way, at some point, will quit. If basketball character and if rising to the occasion matters at all, then this is your dead last pick. And he's old, and he's going to be on his 6th team. So you can be right that the Cavs, as presently constituted, can't make the finals. And I'm telling you, any other move is better than the one that lands you a guy who quits and plays, has 35 career playoff games with 3 or fewer made baskets. 35! A season's 80 games.
Wow.
35 playoff games with 3 or fewer made baskets and 44 playoff games with as many turnovers as made baskets.
Pick a team in the East. Who's your favorite in the East?
Detroit. And they made some moves.
Right now,
I'm just trying to gamble real quick. The Knicks? All right, you got the Knicks. I got the Cavs. Field loses $1,000.
If they trade for James Harden, I'll just give you the Cavs on a free roll. You can just have it.
Even better.
Seafood Tower, maybe.
Even better.
Try to be
relatable. Hard.
Daddy Warbucks.
Seafood Tower. I'm trying to get you interested. Seafood Towers, dinners. I got to go big.
Time now for Top 10 Tuesday. This week's edition, it's not the top 10 players, but the top 10 players who will decide the Super Bowl. Top 10 Tuesday time.
Thank you very much, Wilds. This one, we don't talk about it enough. But coming in at number 10, it's very simple. The Kickers. It's already going to be more than 10. Might end up being 11.
I actually love this.
Here's the thing. 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls kick in the final 2 minutes to tie or take the lead. Super Bowl, absolutely. Are you going to be Scott Norwood? Are you going to be Adam Vinatieri? Let's do the tail of the tape here on Myers and Borregales. In the regular season, 20th and 21st in made percentage. In the playoffs, Andy Borregales.
Another check mark for the Seahawks.
Please, Wild. It is not looking good.
I think it was a 58-yard kick in the snow.
Oh, well, he's missed 2.
I think the other one was a super long,
No, it was
end
like
of the
46.
half in the snow. If you want to put that,
Adam Vinatieri never made any kicks in the snow. He said someone's going to be
Vinatieri was in the building.
Just put it out there.
If it's snowing, I think it's interesting.
Put it out there. Coming in at number 9,
California
top 10 players who could decide the Super Bowl. Next guy,
too low.
Rashid.
Too low.
Too low.
Yeah.
Listen, last 2 teams that have had a return touchdown in the Super Bowl, team won the Super Bowl. My Bears in 2006 with Devin Hester did not quite get it done. Coming in at number 8, you might not impact the Super Bowl for good reasons. Will Campbell, left tackle, Patriots, top 5 pick. The numbers, when you add them all up across the board, and we can show them to you, they're not good.
Most again going to say this
is unbelievable.
Most pressures
Another
allowed,
check mark.
most sacks, second worst pressure percentage allowed.
How many sacks did he give up to Nick Benito?
We can fact check the list at the end of the list.
Anybody know?
Coming up, Troy, get on that. Who's most likely to take advantage of Will Campbell? Plenty of guys who could have the choice, but DeMarcus Lawrence. Basically the exact inverse of the Will Campbell graphic when you think about the Seahawks defense. He's team ranks. He is their best pass rusher, tackles for loss, quarterback hits, forced fumbles as well. He led the team in that this season.
Patriots don't have anybody that's known to fumble.
Exactly. So I put DeMarcus Lawrence coming in at number 7. Brou was surprised to see Trevion Henderson. I'm going with Ramondre Stevenson as the 6th most likely player who could impact it. In the regular season, Henderson outrushed in terms of carries Stevenson, but in the playoffs, it's been Stevenson, and he's coming off of 25 rushing attempts in the AFC title game, which is a career high for him. Coming in at number 5, the running back on the other side, Kenneth Walker, really taking advantage of the opportunity of the Charbonnet injury, 20 or more touches. Once in the first 16 games, he's had 3 straight games over 20 touches. Seahawks obviously like to work off play action. Kenneth Walker has to get it going on the ground. Coming in at number 4, it's a debate on whether or not he's the best defensive player on the Patriots, but he's an excellent player. Christian Gonzalez. Are they going to put him on Cooper Kupp and double Jackson Smith and Jigba? Are they going to try to get him to match up one-on-one with Njigba? Will it be a side of the field thing? Simply put, Christian Gonzalez is one of the best cornerbacks in football in these playoffs. 11 catches on 28 targets, no touchdowns, and an opponent passer rating of 39. He is one of the best players in football that we just don't talk about. But if he does get matched up with Jackson Smith and Jigba, good offense tends to beat good defense, and JSN comes in at number 3. He could be the 3rd player all time if he gets just 35 receiving yards in the Super Bowl to have over 2,000 receiving yards for a single season, regular season and playoffs. But it's been recent. It's Puka Nacua this year and Cooper Kupp in the year that he had the triple
He needs
crown.
35 yards?
Yeah, he's at 1965 playoff and regular season combined. Coming in at number 2, it's time to talk quarterbacks. We know that he could be the youngest quarterback ever to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, the quarterbacks are the 2 favorites for Super Bowl MVP, so we could just roll right into it. Sam Darnold coming off the monster NFC Championship game. If we were talking about top 10 lists most likely to impact the Super Bowl, obviously the 2 spots need to go to the quarterbacks. Perfect top 10?
No, it's not bad. I would
surprised your guy Devin Witherspoon wasn't on there.
Not enough good receivers for the Patriots for me to it's got to be a shutdown thing. Milton Williams almost made it though.
No,
excellent.
Danny,
He came in at number 11.
Another check mark in the Seahawks. It's like 8-0 today.
You know what? At this point, I don't want your support.
You wanted him to weigh it all week.
I'm taking it all in tomorrow. Come strong tomorrow.
He is biased towards the Seahawks.
No,
I'm not going to play the game anymore.
God's been
he wants me just begging
wisdom.
for his support.
They just been bringing facts. But anyway, for the Patriots, where's my man Trevion Henderson? I could see him breaking a long run, or not two, but a long run that kind of seals the deal, maybe decides the game. Ramondre, you're right, has been more valuable in the playoffs, but Wiles tells me they're keeping him on ice.
Listen, I mean, in the playoffs, Stevenson has 194 rushing yards to 57.
Yeah, he hadn't done much in the playoffs.
I think this is just a straight usage thing right now. I know early in the year it was blocking. They didn't trust Henderson with pass blocking.
Still a little bit of that.
And so if it's that, but just I think they're going to ride the hot.
And he could break something.
He doesn't like he does. It's not like 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
No,
it's either going to be 50 yards or -1.
It could be 3 touches and.
But his just snap count the last 2 weeks has plummeted.
It makes sense. The block.
I think against the Broncos, you got to watch. If you watch even like the flea flicker, Ramondre comes in and picks up somebody loose.
I also think they don't like it when he's on the field. They're not throwing, and so they don't want to have an indicate. You know what I mean? They don't want it to be obvious. So I think maybe that's one of the things that's worked against him.
Yeah, it's 51 carries in the playoffs for Stevenson against 24 for Henderson.
All right. If this is players most likely to impact the game, for positive or negative, number 8, will T-Rex Campbell's got to be higher, because if he plays an excellent game, the Patriots should win. If he plays the way he's played this postseason, which KW can mention, Nick Bonito didn't wreck the game. The numbers Danny showed are the numbers.
I don't want to be weird, but those were the Broncos game. He played great though.
But KW, Here's what I don't think is not the way I'm analyzing it.
Sure.
It can't be that the game was a blizzard, everything's weird, throw the stats out, except for the things that are beneficial, that are evidence the Pats played well. And so I think that fact that the Broncos, also because it was a blizzard, we're not throwing the ball much, we're not doing a lot of deep pass drops, we're not trying to, put Jarrett Stidham out there. I don't know that it's evidence that all of a sudden he turned a corner in that game. He didn't lose them the game, and this is my point. If he holds up in the Super Bowl, I think the Patriots become the favorites. If he gets wrecked the way I felt he has been wrecked since he came back from the injury, and I haven't dove into it maybe as deeply as you. I'm not certain. I know he didn't allow a sack. I'm not certain if the PFF scores or whatever say he played great in the AFC title game or not. I know he didn't allow a sack. If he plays the way he's played since the injury, I think that could wreck the game for the Patriots.
I think that's fair. I think during the first 2 games he was exposed, and then this guy needs to play well against Nick Bonito, and I think he had 1 pressure.
Did he play? But my question is, were they, and again, I don't know, it's my job to know, so I apologize. Were they giving him help repeatedly? Because against Seattle, that can be problematic, because they've got 4 defensive linemen that can generate pressure. That could be, if you have to help your top 5 pick franchise left tackle throughout the game, I think that has a knock-on effect the rest of it. And if he can hold up, then the Patriots should be able to deal. I just think he's, one of the most important
A bigger
players.
factor, too low on the list. That's fair.
Milton Williams, I think he deserves a spot on the list.
He can wreck the game, too, on the other side. I agree.
You know what game he wrecked?
What's that?
The last Super Bowl.
Thanks for hanging out with us on the OT. We got Coach Mangini and Willie Colon. Media Day was yesterday in San Francisco, and Drake Maye was at the podium. It's more of a podium.
Gotcha.
And he was asked about Sam Darnold, his journey to the Super Bowl, and the teams that moved on from him. Take a listen.
What a career he's had. Just to battle the life of the NFL, and knowing that his first opportunity, obviously he got put in a scenario where they decided to move on, and from there he's made them pay ever since. People think that what makes the league so special. It's stories like Sam that just puts his head down, works hard. It's turned to one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
It's kind of amazing that if Drake Maye wins the Super Bowl, he will be the youngest quarterback ever to win the Super Bowl. But that is actually the secondary, at least in my opinion, quarterback story in the game. Because if Sam Darnold does it with his 5th team in 8 years, it's like one of the great reclamation projects. Both quarterback narratives here are great. Willie, who do you think is more likely to have a statement game, Darnold or Maye?
Well, I feel like Drake Maye has more range out of the 2 quarterbacks. I think his ability to extend plays with his legs, we saw it in the AFC Championship game where he's able to skip out of pocket and keep the offense in rhythm. I do think, in reference to playing really well in the Super Bowl, man, I think it comes down to his ability to show up in the red zone, which they haven't done in the postseason. I have a graphic right here to show you. The Pats have struggled in the red zone. They've been god-awful, actually. And this is this year's playoff. So I think if there needs to be a statement to be made, it's how he produces in the red zone. If he's able to do that and show up, because I know what he can do athletically. We know he can win in a shootout. Both quarterbacks can show up in a shootout. But how he executes in the red zone is going to be crucial. So for me, it comes down to Drake Maye.
I see this being more Sam Darnold, and I think Sam Darnold's going to see more defensively in terms of variety, whether it's the volume of pressures, whether it's the matchups, whether it's the post-snap disguise, and New England's going to do a good job of forcing him to make those post-snap decisions. And because they're doing different things, that's going to create some real opportunities for Sam, both good and bad. And I think there'll be some holes that he can exploit if he can see it. But there's also a really good chance, too, that he could be fooled. That could either lead to strip sacks or interceptions. I'm really curious to see how much motion and gadget formation Seattle does to really pressure New England's communication.
Do you agree with this, that, like, I can see paths to Seattle winning without Sam Darnold having a statement game?
Right.
Like, he was fine against San Francisco, but they were just like an overwhelming team. They blew him out. He didn't really need to do all of that.
He jumped on him early, especially with the Rashid Shaheed touchdown.
But I don't know that I see a path to New England winning the game without Drake Maye having a statement game, which is it's the whole argument for him to be MVP, is that he's done more with less and he's really elevated that team this year. Like, I don't know that I see a way for New England winning without Maye being great.
But their whole path through the playoffs have been without Drake Maye being great. And if anything, there's been a lot of games where they've had to overcome Drake Maye not being very good at all. And the thing that they benefited from is the pressure that New England's defense has put on every other quarterback, is that those quarterbacks were worse. And right on down the line, I mean, it's quarterback after quarterback where New England has done so much to them that Drake Maye's mistakes have been kind of minimized.
Right, Stroud had an impossibly bad game, and then the weather and a backup quarterback at Jarrett Stidham. I guess I'd be surprised if Darnold laid an egg in a spot like Stroud or Stidham did.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case, and the fact that he played as well as he did in the NFC Championship game is a great sort of hump that he got over. But in those big moments, that's always been the question, and this is the biggest of the moments that he's faced.
Yeah, I mean, Drake Maye has the opportunity to play point guard and assassin in one night. I think that's going to help write his legacy. I think what we saw in the AFC Championship was, even though he played mid-man, I thought the last, him pulling the ball from the running back and putting the nail in the coffin was huge. I think for him right now, if he just play a clean game, allow the run game to operate between the 20s and execute in the red zone, man, I just see him having a big statement game in that fashion.
If Drake Maye wins this Super Bowl, he becomes the youngest quarterback ever to win the Super Bowl, and he joins this list, quarterbacks at age 24 or younger to win: Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Pretty good company for Drake Maye. More Hall of Fame news out of New England. A week after it was reported that Bill Belichick wasn't going to make it into Canton on the first ballot, we found out this morning the same apparently applies to Robert Kraft. Tom Brady was actually kind of funny about that, a little self-deprecating in his conversation with Colin Cowherd earlier today, which everyone should go back and listen. It was spectacular. Robert Kraft was a finalist via the Contributors Committee, but he did not receive the 40 votes required to get in. He, of course, purchased the Patriots in 1994. He was the owner during all 6 Super Bowl victories. Coach, you were in New England. You know Robert Kraft. What do you make of this most recent report and Hall of Fame snub?
Yeah, when you look at him as an owner, it's unique in this sense. So he had Bill Parcells, and they go to the Super Bowl, and they didn't win that. And then he met Bill Belichick while Bill Parcells was there. So then Bill, who had one winning season in Cleveland, 1 out of 5 in Cleveland, he then trades a #1 draft pick for Bill Belichick because he has that conviction that Bill can be the coach that he ends up being. So then the dynasty happens, and now, a year later, he wants to have continuity with Gerard Mayo, potentially carry on what had been built there. That goes south. He has the strength to blow it up and go get Mike Vrabel, and now he's back in the Super Bowl again. So to be in the Super Bowl with three different coaches, 3 different styles of coaches, and to me, the biggest thing is trading a #1 draft pick for a coach that was panned and having nobody would have done that, but he believed in it, and to me, that decision alone merits.
But apparently that coach isn't even a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, well.
No, I feel like for me, to Coach's point, he checks all the boxes. He talked about the 6 Super Bowl rings. He kept the team from relocating, and also he grew the brand. And I think, to Coach's point, his recent masterpiece is really going to get Mike Vrabel, because once he got Mike Vrabel, he said, hey, man, let's turn this thing around. And when Vrabel's got in the building, he cleaned out Gerard Mayo's old position coaches and staff, said, hey, get out of here. Then he hired Doug Marrone and Thomas Brown, your guy who's an intern with the with the Bears. And then on top of that, They did a great job of really recruiting some guys who fit the Patriot way. Stephon Diggs, Milton Williams, they got Chasen, they got Cranberry from the Vikings. So they elevated this team from the inside out. And now all those guys who were so-called journeymen are now considered Patriots, right, under Robert Kraft and his direction, along with Mike Vrabel. So I don't know what else he needs to do. I mean, if he wins this one, it's like, what are we talking about right now? I'm already here with that conversation.
Yeah, so listen, I don't know that this current Patriots thing is impacting his Hall of Fame legacy. Like, I would be surprised if that came up in the room when they were pitching it. Like, and it's working out with Stephon Diggs and Mike Vrabel. I'd be surprised. It's an interesting case study in ego, because I feel, because there's been a lot of reporting that Robert Kraft was kind of campaigning to get in, that he really wants to get in to the Hall of Fame. And he has seen his path towards getting in almost at the expense of Belichick. Like, they're both trying to win this breakup. And you know both of these guys. If they were, and all things, would not end poorly or else they wouldn't end, I get it. But, like, if they would have been able to deal with the breakup between the two of them, I feel like they would be going into Canton together. Whereas clearly they have split the vote a little bit in the room. And because you need 80% of the vote to get in, now neither of them are in on the first ballot.
I mean, it's hard to argue that Robert hasn't won the breakup. I mean, he's back in the Super Bowl.
But I guess my point is for the Hall of Fame.
He wanted to keep Tom Brady when Bill let him go. Tom goes to Tampa Bay and wins the Super Bowl. It's a pretty, like, if you're looking at, who's doing a little bit better here.
I agree that he has won the break, but if you didn't need to keep score in the breakup, like, I feel like there's 50 people who vote on this, and clearly some people are saying, I will either vote for Belichick or I will vote for Kraft, and now neither of them are in, where their legacies are so clearly tied together that if they were simpatico, most people would just have both of them on their ballot.
See, I don't see their legacies as tied together. Like, they're tied together to some degree.
Because of the Super Bowl.
But Mr. Kraft had a Super Bowl appearance prior to Bill Belichick. He's got a Super Bowl appearance past Bill Belichick, and there's a lot of owners that get in the way so often that they can't even get their teams into the playoffs.
So you think Robert Kraft is a more deserving member of the Hall of Fame than Belichick?
I think they're both as deserving as they can for their spots as a head coach and as an owner. And to me, who's losing is the Hall of Fame. Like, this system is what's losing. The fact that these two guys that are so obviously deserving of the honor, and neither one of them going to get in.
Well, they're losing, but they're keeping the headlines going, because everybody's going to be on Belichick and Kraft watch until they get in.
Yeah, and they'll get in. They'll get in eventually, but time is finite, and neither one of them are in on this go round. That's Patriots' disrespect to the past. Is this current team being disrespected ahead of the Super Bowl? We discuss on the OQ. Mike Vrabel experienced media day as a player, but last night was his first as a coach. He was asked about his team's role, someone has to be, as the underdog, pretty significant underdog in the Super Bowl. Here's Coach Vrabel. Take a listen.
Well, somebody has to. I don't think we dislike it. Again, that's not anything that's ever affected us, I don't think. I don't think we set out to necessarily worry about those types of things. I'm excited to be here and with this football team.
So, guys, the question is, do the Patriots deserve to be 4.5-point underdogs? And as the resident gambler on the show, I'll say deserve's got nothing to do with it. It's a market. It opened at 3.5, and it immediately got bet up to 4.5, and that's where it's staying. Yeah. And so, like, the sharp money has spoken. So that's where, it's going to sit now going into the game. But I do think what is interesting about this line, even if you don't gamble, is both these. This isn't like a wild card team, like a 7-loss, 8-loss team made it. Like, these teams both have incredible resumes. I guess technically the Patriots, they won the division, but didn't get the bye. If you look at teams that each had 3 losses or fewer, when they meet in the Super Bowl, normally the line is smaller than this. The last 5 times it's happened, The spread's 1.5, 1, 2.5. The only other time it was an identical 4.5-point spread to this one, it was Tom Brady going up against the backup quarterback in the Brady-Nick Foles Super Bowl in 2017. So for both teams to be at full strength with their starters and have 3 or fewer losses, this is a pretty significant line in the Seahawks' favor, and I think the line is correct, Willie. Do you think it's too big?
Yeah, I think Vegas got it right. I think when you break down both teams, I think Seattle, to me, has the edge defensively solely because their ability to shut down their opponent's run game with a lighter box. I think Sam Darnold obviously is a legit quarterback. And I also think right now there's more questions about the Patriots because of Drake Maye's performance in the playoffs and, his turnovers and the fact that, they have a leaky protection nevertheless. I do think with all that combined, man, I think Vegas got it right. I had a stat that I found. It says Vrabel's 22-14 in games decided by 3 points or fewer. So he shows up in game management situations. So that's the edge for the pass. But to me, I think it's legit.
Coach?
Yeah, I don't. I've been part of a team that was a 14.5-point underdog, and that didn't matter. And you kind of I would rather be the underdog than the favorite. And when you're talking to the team and when the team's looking at this and when they're talking to their families, there is that level of, hey, they don't believe in us. And people like to be able to push that narrative forward. And to some degree, all season long, it's been the case. And I'm guilty of it because of their schedule and how easy their schedule was. And then they keep figuring out ways to win. And this team has continued to get better. So, yeah, 4.5. 5.5, 6, whatever you want to put on it. To me, it doesn't matter.
Can't the Seahawks could figure out a way to say that no one believes in them either? No one picked us before the year to be here. Our quarterback was given up on by his old team, right? Any coach any coach can find a way to convince their team that they've been disrespected.
Yeah, but you're the favorite, so they believe in you now. They believe in you now, and then everything is pushing Seattle's way in terms of the narrative. Darnold's over the hump. Their defense is so good. New England's Drake Maye hasn't played well. So, yeah, keep believing it.
Lot of noise. I feel like you're picking the Patriots this week. We'll get your official prediction later on. Picking up what you're putting down, though. Josh Allen was kind enough to join First Things First earlier today. You should check it out. Push us over 1 billion views on YouTube with that. He gave some interesting insight on his time sitting in on the Bills' head coaching interviews. Take a listen to Josh.
It was a fun time. It was a unique perspective. A little awkward at times because I'm sitting there, I'm getting paid to be the quarterback, right? But I think having that perspective of what the pulse of the locker room is, being able to ask questions and help maybe Mr. Pagula and the Pagula family and some of the scouts and ultimately Brandon Beane, who those are guys that make the decisions, but having those questions being asked where they may have not have thought of those as a player perspective. So, it was interesting.
You guys both had really strong opinions on Josh sitting in on the interview. That's his explanation. He admitted that it was awkward at times. Coach, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I imagine it would be awkward at times, and I do think it puts him in a challenging situation. And at the end of the day, who'd they pick?
His guy.
Pick the in-house candidate. So, were the other interviews serious interviews, or was this the way it was always going to go right along, where Brandon Beane had decided that they wanted to move on from the head coach and put the in-house guy in his spot? It doesn't seem like it made that much of a difference in the process when you end up with a guy that's been in the building.
Yeah, I would, Coach. I didn't think not that he didn't deserve to be in the room, but I just think you put him in a weird situation. I also think, him kind of being a representative of the locker room, there's two sides of the ball. If it's okay you being the face of the offense, but there's guys on defense that probably have a say that want to change things. If you're Matt Milano, if you're Ed Oliver, you're talking about being deficient on defensive line, there's some things you probably want to change defensively that you feel like that needs to be addressed. You don't have a say at the table, right? So there's only one person talking on behalf of his side of the ball. So that's where the friction comes. Overall, man, he wanted a spot at the table. This is what it is. You got your guy. Now you have to produce. Joe Brady's in a different situation because now, you got to erase some of the deficiencies on offense. You got to make it happen.
Couldn't I read that the other way though, Coach? Like you said, how much of a difference did it make because they hired the in-house guy? Isn't the flip side of that they kept Josh Allen's play caller and Josh Allen was involved? Hey, why? What? I listen to these other interviews.
Yeah,
they're not saying all
how
these
did they
things.
lose their last game?
Well, no, Josh Allen was not good in the last game.
Okay. Well, isn't that why they fired the head coach?
I am going to just take whatever their owner said and
Well,
put
the
that
owner
under
said
it
that
was not logical.
That if they had won the game, they wouldn't have made the decision that they made.
I'm with you.
So now they didn't play well offensively, but yet the head coach got fired, even though it was a catch that wasn't a catch. And if they had made the catch, or whatever the logic was, and then they end up on saying, okay, well, we're going to keep the offensive coordinator as the head coach, even though we didn't play well offensively.
Listen, I am not going to try to put logic into that ownership press conference. I'm 100% with you. All I'm saying is once they decide.
How about the next step? Are you putting logic into that?
I'm saying that keeping Joe Brady, to me, suggests that Josh Allen did have input in the hiring process.
Well, of course he did. That's why he was there. I think it just puts a target on Joe Brady's back because he now is in charge of the whole operation. So that's going to take away from what he did do well. We'll call this offense. So now, if he's not able to do his job, even though he got the nod from Josh Allen, now Josh Allen, it seemed like, well, he's your guy. You got the bump up. Why are we still in the same place if they're not able to kind of get on track and potentially make the Super Bowl? So I think they hurt themselves by not getting a guy who's ran an operation and going in-house.
And I'm just wondering, did they bring him in to rubber stamp the decision that was already made? Or did they bring him in to give real insight on these other potential candidates that could have pushed the franchise forward? When you bring in the quarterback who has a relationship with the now head coach.
They're married now.
And you're giving him influence, kind of seems like you're stacking the deck towards one side.
Yeah, I'm guessing the external candidates did not have a great shot at getting that job.
Yeah, and to Willie's point, there are two sides of the ball.
100%.
But they don't make $300 million on the other side.
Yeah,
of the
but
ball.
what did $300 million get you?
I guess they don't matter.
I'm saying they don't matter as much. They don't matter as much.
You and your team, are you planning to win this Sunday?
Are we planning to win? What else will we planning to do? Yes. That's the goal of us coming out here. We're coming out here to win the game, and that's the number one priority. And looking forward to getting a chance to have a great week of practice and getting a chance to play in the Super Bowl. How about that?
You know how they say there's no such thing as a stupid question? So, I'm saying it's something to consider. It's something to consider. Because at least with Dave Damashek, it's like, hey, is Super Bowl is a must-win game? He has his it's tongue firmly planted in cheek there. I'm not so sure that one was. He's planning to win.
I think those are equally. Those questions will probably have equal weight, right? Is this a must-win versus are you planning to win?
I'm saying the person who asks the must-win question knows that he's in on the bit. It's a joke.
I'm just glad he didn't say anything to kind of get himself in trouble. He was just like, yes, we play to win and go home, and hopefully it's with a Lombardi.
I'm pretty sure you're shocked when that question comes up to the podium. Like
you saw his face. He's like, are you for real right now?
I want to be sure he heard the question correctly. It's an old trick. Like, how was your day? How was my day? Just kind of, are you
reiterate that? Yeah, reiterate it.
Yeah, I am planning to win. That's an interesting question.
Thanks for
asking.
asking.
We'll be back tomorrow on the OT. Planning to do a good show.